Part 66. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 662. Chapter 645, Kongshan's new disciple, Mai Shi Longwu. The woman in white took 2 steps forward and said with a smile, "Junior sister Longwu, and Uncle Jinzhen are here. It's at the Purity Hall at the back. Senior sister, do you want me to lead the way? It's not my first time here, so I won't disturb junior sister Kingziu." The woman in linen clothes smiled and nodded, and after bowing her head, she picked up the Kingzin Sutra in her hand. The woman in white turned around and led her junior sister inside. "Senior sister, who was that senior sister just now? Why are you dressed so weirdly?" the girl in green said. "That is Master Jinzhen's only beloved daughter. Her name is Shi Longwu. She is extremely talented. She has been in Taoism for a few years and has already reached the late stage of Yuan Shen. Moreover, Master Eighth Master said that if she can become an Earth Immortal, she will become an Earth Immortal. Accept him as the 5th direct disciple." "Why do you have to become an Earth Immortal?" "According to the rules of our sect, if you pass the Earth level test of the Human Soul Divine Sect, you can become a direct descendant. I don't know why, but this is what Master ordered." "Master?" The girl in green stuck out her tongue. She had only met the legendary Master who was known as the #1 monk in the spiritual world once when she was just starting out. "Follow the corridor to the Qingjing Hall in the middle courtyard and look at the closed door." The woman in white took a breath, bowed and saluted, and said respectfully, "Situ Minjiao and his junior sister Yang Yunchen asked to see senior uncle Jinzhen." Creak, the closed door slowly opened. A peaceful voice reached my ears. "Come in." Situ Minjiao was in front, Yang Yunchen was behind, and the two of them filed in. The main hall was extremely empty, except for a middle-aged woman sitting cross-legged on the cloud bed in the middle, wearing a ge robe, holding a floating dust in her hand, and looking majestic and solemn. Situ Minjiao pays homage to Master Jinzhen. Our Lady of the Golden Needle smiled and nodded. "I haven't seen Minjiao for several years, and you have become an Earth Immortal. It's all the teachers who teach well, and the disciples don't take the credit." Our Lady of the Golden Needle nodded and turned her gaze. "Are you Yunchen?" Yang Yunchen pays homage to Uncle Jinzhen. After smiling, "Is your father okay?" "Everything is fine with my father. He is currently practicing in the Luoyang branch with his 2 uncles. After knowing that I was going back to the main gate, he specially sent a letter to Fihi to tell me that he would definitely let me come to visit you." Yang Yunchen's father is Yang De, the 3rd son of the Kilo 3 heroes. Since joining the Chongshan sect, he has practiced for decades and has reached the peak level of nascent soul. Together with Zhou Lang, who had just advanced to Yuan Shen, and Li Ning, who was in the late stage of Yuan Shen, they were respectfully known as the 3 Immortals of Kilo. The 3 of them are responsible for the management of the Luoyang branch of Chongshan Academy. Because the 3 of them are all inner disciples of Chongshan Academy. Therefore, Li Yingsheng and Zhou Qingyun also became disciples of Chongshan, just like Yang Yunchen. However, Li Yingsheng's master is Su Huang, while Zhou Qingyun's master is Miao Chufang. The last time I said goodbye to junior brother Yang, I think it was more than 10 years ago. You didn't exist at that time. After he finished speaking with a smile, he opened his palms and a stream of light flew towards Yang Yunchen. After arriving a foot in front of her, he stopped. A long sword with flashing light appeared in front of him. "This Jingling sword is a spiritual treasure that I trained a few years ago. Now I give it to you as a meeting gift." All Chongshan disciples know that apart from the headmaster, the ones with the highest level of weapon refining are Shi Liun, the Holy Mother of the Golden Needle, and Miao Chufang, the Holy Mother of the Red Flower. The most powerful person in alchemy is the 3rd Master Kongsang Fairy Jiao Shaoxin. The one who is best at heavenly magic and formations is Zhuge Wolong, the 6th Master of the 5 Mountains. A spiritual treasure, it is easy for the Holy Mother of the Golden Needle to master it. So Yang Yunchen did not refuse. Disciple, thank you, Master, for the treasure. Uncle Master, this is what Uncle Li Ning asked me to bring back and give to you, the Luoyang branch's disciple enrollment information for this year. Sidhu Mingyao took out a jade slip from the yellow gourd at her waist and handed it over. As the deacon responsible for the daily management of Chongshan Academy, Our Lady of the Golden Needle collects statistics on the enrollment status of each branch every year, especially the detailed information of the inner disciples. After taking a look, the Holy Mother of the Golden Needle was placed in her arms. By the way, if I remember correctly, the day after tomorrow is your father's birthday, right? Sidhu Mingyao nodded in response yes. Take out a porcelain bottle from the storage gourd. There are 3 Yunhua pills in it, which are my birthday gifts to your father. As Chiao Shaoxin's disciple, Sidhu Mingyao certainly had no shortage of elixirs. Moreover, Yunhua Dan is not a very precious elixir for monks, but for ordinary people, it can strengthen the body, and eliminate disease, so it is very precious. Disciple and father, I would like to thank my uncle for giving me the elixir. Our Lady of the Golden Needle smiled and nodded. After the 3 of them chatted briefly for a while, Sidhu Mingyao took the junior sister and left here. After getting off Kikshuan Cliff, he flew straight towards Kinyuan City, which he had passed by before. It didn't take long before they arrived in front of a gorgeous mansion. Sister, is this your home? Sidhu Mingyao looked a little excited. She hadn't been back for several years. After nodding towards his junior sister, he stepped forward. When the servant cleaning outside saw Sidhu Mingyao, surprise appeared on his face and he quickly took 2 steps forward. Lu 11 has met the eldest lady. Are my parents at home? Yes, yes. The master and madam are both here, and the young master is also here. Pinger is back too. Lu 11 nodded, turned around and ran towards the mansion. The eldest lady is back, the eldest lady is back. The excited shouts alarmed the whole family. This guy will never change his sudden temper. Even so, Sidhu Mingyao had an expectant smile on her face and led her junior sister through the courtyard gate and straight into the atrium. Before reaching the door, a group of people poured out of the house. Walking at the front were Sidhu Ding and Huang Piyun, who were dressed in fine clothes. Nearly a month had passed since they met Su Junming in Chang'an City. They were once young, but now they have become senile. However, because of the elixir that Sidhu Mingyao brought back by chance, the 2 of them were in good health and had nothing wrong with them. Father and daughter, mother and daughter reunited after a long time. Of course, it was a touching scene of a loving mother and a filial daughter. After everyone's emotions stabilized, Sidhu Mingyao also introduced Yang Yunchen to her parents. Everyone returned to the room and the guests and hosts took their seats. Where's Xingming? Why didn't he come back? Sidhu Mingyao asked after looking around. Auntie, my mother is currently in seclusion, preparing to break through to the nascent soul realm. If my father protects her, it will be difficult to escape for a while. But he has already said that he will definitely come back for my grandpa's birthday the day after tomorrow. The young man sitting next to him, wearing a green robe, handsome and calm, replied. Sidhu Mingyao nodded and said with a smile, Pinger, I see that the sword energy around you is fluctuating, are you about to break through? Master gave me 3 7 yellow pills last month. After taking them, I can reach the peak of nascent soul. Sidhu Ping's face showed anticipation. The appearance of Su Junming and the establishment of Chongshan Academy changed the fate of too many people. The Sidhu Ding family, who were supposed to die, are still alive and well. At Sidhu Mingyao's insistence, Sidhu Xingming also entered Chongshan Academy to study. Although his qualifications are not as good as those of Sidhu Mingyao, who has an innate Taoist body, he is still considered to be superior. After many years of practice, he has reached the late stage of nascent soul realm. Because of this opportunity, he did not marry Zhongsang, the goddess of disaster. Instead, he married a fellow disciple who had been practicing together and gave birth to Situ Ping. The latter's qualifications are the same as those of her aunt Situ Mingyao, who also has an innate Taoist body. Su Junming appointed him to join Yan Shixia's sect, ranking behind Zhuge Liu Yun and Pang Xian. All in all, Situ Ping and his aunt Situ Mingyao were both third-generation direct disciples of Chongshan. Practice hard. If it's not enough, I still have a few 7 yellow pills here. Situ Ping quickly waved his hand. No, aunt. 3 is enough. I told you, aunt and nephew, not to talk about these things about cultivating immortals and Taoism when you get home. It's rare for you to come back and chat with us two old guys. Situ Ding interrupted the two of them. After the two met and smiled, they stopped in tacit understanding. Situ Mingyao and Situ Ping, who rarely returned home, stayed for a few more days after their father's birthday. On this day, the aunt and nephew were chatting, and suddenly the human soul door vibrated, and then the voice of the Golden Needle Mother came into the sea of consciousness. Your aunt and nephew come to the Sun Palace at once. The two looked at each other. Walk. Situ Mingyao gave an order, and the two of them activated the escape light and flew straight towards Kixuan Cliff. As for Yang Yunchen, after attending the Situ family's birthday, she returned to practice at the Kingzhou Peak where the direct disciple of Kixuan Ya opened the cave. Arriving at Zhairi Hall, Our Lady of the Golden Needle, Shi Liun, sat high on her head. On the left side, Shi Long, wearing linen clothes and sandals, with black hair hanging down her shoulders, stands aside. There were 4 people sitting on the guest seats next to them. At the front is a middle-aged man wearing a green robe and 3 strands of long beard, with an elegant temperament. Behind him is a tall hunchback. Behind them is a beautiful girl about 16 or 17 years old, wearing 2 sets of gorgeous palace clothes, one green and one purple. The girl in purple clothes has reached the peak of nascent soul. She has a calm temperament and is quite righteous. The girl in green clothes is only in the middle stage of nascent soul. She has a lively temperament and jumpy eyes. She is obviously not a peaceful master. Situ Mingyao's aunt and nephew came in, and everyone looked over instantly. Situ Ping frowned slightly, and he found that everyone's eyes were more focused on him. Silently thinking about the reason, he followed his aunt into the hall with his head full of confusion. After paying homage to Our Lady of the Golden Needle first, Situ Mingyao turned around. I've met Senior Yi and Senior Yuxiu. Yi Zhou and Yi Xiu were both seniors in the spiritual world who became Earth Immortals in their early years, and were of the same generation as the second-generation disciples of Chongshan Academy. Mingyao, I haven't seen you for a few years, but you have become an Earth Immortal. Congratulations, Yi Zhou said with a smile. Because his daughter Yi Jing is also a Chongshan disciple, he is also very close to Chongshan Academy. Thank you. Young man Situ, do you still recognize me? Yuxiu said with a smile. Situ Ping nodded. The senior's chess skills are extraordinary, and the junior is willing to be inferior. 8 years ago, Situ Ping went out to travel and met Yi Xiu in Wuobian, Huangshan. The two fell in love at first sight and formed a lifelong friendship. From then on, Yuxiu went to Yan Shixia's dojo every now and then to look for him. As a result, Situ Ping did not see her in seclusion, but instead became close friends with Yan Shixia, who was bold and informal. Because of their similar temperaments, they became close friends. After everyone greeted each other, Situ Mingyao said, Uncle Master, do you know why the two of you are here? Our Lady of the Golden Needle turned her head and said, Fellow Taoist Yi, fellow Taoist Yuxiu, let's talk about it. After Yi Zhou nodded, Hunchback, who will come between you and me? It's up to you to do it. Yi Zhou nodded and turned his head. Mingyao, do you know Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang? No. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 663. Chapter 646, Two Skyfox Women, Three Heroes, and Two Clouds. Sidhu Minjio saw the two beautiful girls behind and understood instantly. When Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang killed Qin Yu, a direct disciple of the supreme being Li Jingxiu, he lost his Yuan Yang and had to be reincarnated and rebuilt, which was a sensation in the entire spiritual world. Although she is a junior, she has heard about such important events. And she also knew that Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang gave birth to two daughters for Qin Yu. After noticing her look, Yi Zhou stretched out his finger. These two are Qin Xiling and Qin Hain, the daughters of Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang. The two people quickly stepped forward and saluted. Qin Xiling and Qin Hain have met Senior Sidhu. No need to be polite. Sidhu Minjio nodded slightly. The two of us were entrusted by Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang to come to your sect to negotiate matchmaking, Yi Zhou said with a smile. Sidhu Minjio understood instantly. The master's uncle, Our Lady of the Golden Needle, specially called their aunt and nephew here, and looking at the two daughters of Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang, who are as beautiful as flowers and jade, it is obvious who they are playing matchmaking for. Speaking of which, she did not object to Sidhu Ping's marriage. After all, the Sidhu family could not cut off its incest, and the Taoism of Chongshan Academy did not require its disciples to be Yuan Yang. But Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang is a different kind of enlightenment, and her reputation is not very good. Marrying her daughter may not be a good match. Senior, do you mean my nephew and the two young ladies of the Qin family? Young friend Minjio is really smart as ice and snow, that's right, Yi Zhou said with a smile. Boy Ping, these two little girls are both born with Taoism and are beautiful. It will not be a loss at all to marry you, Yuxiu said with a smile. Sidhu Ping subconsciously turned his head to look at the two girls, who happened to look over as well. The exchange of eyes made each other blush, their hearts beat, and their hearts fluttered. After all, the quality of spiritual practice is one thing, and the relationship between men and women is another. Fortunately, Sidhu Ping had a good nature and took a deep breath without being rude. Two seniors, there are many talented young people in the cultivation world. The two young ladies of the Qin family are beautiful and have extraordinary qualifications. There must be as many marriage seekers as there are ministers across the river. Why did you choose Ping-er? Sidhu Minjio asked. It is also the fate of the previous life that my nephew Sidhu Ping has been entangled with Ziling and Han Yi for 3 lives. They are destined to become husband and wife in this life. Therefore, Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang asked me to bring the sisters here, Yi Zhou said. I see. After thinking for a while, Sidhu Minjio turned to look at the Qin sisters. Are you two really willing to marry Ping-er? Qin Xiling took a deep breath. Although she didn't want to, she had to do it in order for her mother to overcome the disaster and become enlightened. My two sisters are willing. Sidhu Minjio pondered for a moment. The orders of the parents are the words of the matchmaker. Whether this marriage can happen or not depends on the attitude of Ping-er's parents. In addition, it is necessary to report to Uncle Minjian and obtain his old man's consent. Because it was a family matter, Our Lady of the Golden Needle did not get involved. At this time, he spoke. Fellow Taoist Yi and fellow Taoist Yuxiu, something unexpected happened. How about letting their aunt and nephew go back to discuss with their families first? How about you two and the Qin sisters staying here now? Yi Xiu and Yi Zhou looked at each other. Just follow the arrangements of fellow Taoist Jinzhen. After taking Sidhu Ping back, he immediately asked him to pass a message to Master Yan Chixia He. Not long after, Yan Chixia's reply arrived. Not long, just 4 words. Make your own decision. In Chongshan residence, Su Junming and Dragon Emperor were sitting under the pavilion in the backyard. While looking at the mist-filled, auspicious clouds and the prosperous growth of immortal roots and spiritual seeds, I tasted the newly picked purple tassel immortal tea. This is the top immortal root discovered by Ren Wuji in the Chinese world, and was moved to the Creation Spirit Island by Su Junming. This is also the second fairy tea he cultivates here. After putting down the teacup and looking at him, the Dragon Emperor said, "The reason why the two daughters of the Qin family want to marry Situ Ping is just to use him to help Mrs. Tianhu Baoxiang overcome the disaster. There may be Yimei sect behind this. How can you agree to this instigation?" "I don't agree. I just leave it to Situ Ping to make his own choice. If he is willing, he will marry the two Tianhu girls and help Mrs. Tianhu Baoxiang overcome the disaster. If he is not willing, just pretend that nothing happened." After a pause, he looked at the Dragon Emperor with a smile on his face. "With our current level of cultivation, it is easy to protect Situ Ping. Even if Yimei and Buddhism are behind it, it is nothing. So, no matter what he chooses, it will have no impact on our Chongshan lineage. Let him go. In comparison, I still care more about Yu Yingnan. Aren't you keeping an eye on Guangming and Guanghui? Can you find her whereabouts?" The Dragon Emperor shook his head. "It shouldn't be. Li Yingxin is already 12 years old. It stands to reason that Yu Yingnan has already joined Guangming and Guanghui at this time." Su Junming frowned. "Yu Yingnan is an orphan. It is possible that he may enter Chongshan Academy and be accepted as our disciple, but not be known to us," the Dragon Emperor said. Su Junming nodded slightly. "Over the past 60 years, Chongshan Academy has established 72 upper academies, 569 intermediate academies, and 3,972 lower academies throughout the Northwest, Guangzhou, Central Plains, Hedong, Hebei and other places. Nearly 10 million disciples join the academy every year. Especially for the purpose of accumulating merit, all orphans will be admitted to Chongshan Academy to be raised and taught. There is indeed a very high possibility that Yu Yingnan will be admitted to Chongshan Academy. Shall I check the enrollment list of academy disciples later?" Su Junming said. "It may not be useful. She is an orphan. If she joins Chongshan Academy, she may not be called Yu Yingnan. You have to give it a try after all. Now that he has blocked the secret, he cannot deduce the whereabouts of Yu Yingnan, so he can only use this stupid method. In other words, if he hadn't blocked Tianji, Li Yingxin and Zhou Qingyun might not have been able to enter Chongshan sect. The prosperity of my Tao is 3 heroes and 2 clouds. Without 2 heroes and 1 cloud, I don't see how Yimei can still prosper. It's a pity that Yan Yingmu is too stubborn," said the Dragon Emperor. Su Junming smiled and waved his hand. "It's okay to miss Yan Reniying, so that Yimei will not notice our actions. Compared to Li Yingxin, Zhou Qingyun, and Yu Yingnan, Yan Reniying's status as 3 heroes and 2 clouds is almost obvious. If you move him, you will definitely alarm Yimei. By then, I'm afraid it will be a big war." Su Junming doesn't want to have a final decisive battle with Yimei until the old devil from Taicheng Mountain is eradicated. "By the way, Li Jinchen, I have transferred to Chongshan World and asked him to join Shang Taijin's section." Su Junming nodded. He never expected that Qi Shuming's son would actually join the Chongshan sect. Of course, this is not surprising. After reincarnation, Qi Jinchen has become Li Jinchen. Coupled with the chaos of heaven, it is impossible to calculate. Qi Shuming and his wife couldn't pick him up immediately. The Li family sent their son to the academy to study. Although strictly speaking, after reincarnation and rebuilding, this life has nothing to do with the previous life. But if Li Jinchen achieves Yuan Shen in the future and recalls the memories of his previous life, and discovers that he personally ended his father's sect in his previous life, this would be somewhat cruel. Therefore, it is better to transfer him and the entire Li family to Chongshan World. We're changing the world more and more. There are already hundreds of millions of disciples in the outer sect of Chongshan Academy, and there are hundreds of thousands of disciples in the inner section. They dominate the north of the Yangtze River. Such a scale is certainly enough to change the world. The Dragon Emperor continued, Wolong told me last month that the Wuodang sect established the Wuodang Academy in Wuchang, and the model is exactly the same as ours. Su Junming smiled and said, it's not surprising. If they don't make changes, when we slowly expand the academy to the entire Chongshan world and lose the supply of fresh blood, their end will be to destroy the sect and destroy the section. There was a pause. But I didn't expect that half of the nuns would be so courageous and push forward the reform of Wuodang before Ime. The boat is small and easy to turn around. Apart from one Ling Lingzi, who in the Wuodang sect can restrain half of the old nuns. In contrast, Ime, who has 3 generations of disciples, is difficult to change. Especially after losing the sword fight last time and the sect's development not going smoothly, Qi Shuming's prestige was greatly affected. It will be even harder to completely change Ime. There is also the influence of Buddhism. Su Junming added, it is not easy to change those stubborn people who have practiced Buddhism for thousands of years. Sun Shen, Tianmen, and others are not necessarily stubborn, but they have seen the shortcomings of Buddhism. Most ordinary people hope that their children will get married in the future and inherit the family line. Even if they founded an academy like ours, I'm afraid there won't be much people are willing to send their children in, the Dragon Emperor said. That's true. Su Junming nodded and continued, I have long been disgusted with the theory of afterlife promoted by Buddhism. If you don't work hard in this life, you just hope to be reborn into a good family in the next life. If such things spread, it will only make ordinary people lose their hard work. The courage to fight. We at Chongshan Academy are not secular rulers, and we must not let this destroy our foundation. We only seek this life, not the next life. The Dragon Emperor nodded. In this case, we will have to fight against Buddhism sooner or later. Zunshen, Tianmen, Beimei, Kongchuo, and others want to use Ime as a spearman to gain merit for themselves, while we compete with Ime for the position of leader of the righteous path. This is a fundamental contradiction, unless one party admits defeat. Otherwise we will have to fight sooner or later, Su Junming said. What if Sun Shen and the others are willing to support us? Su Junming frowned slightly, is Sun Shen looking for you? No, just a guess. Buddhist people are not fools. If they realize that the strength gap between Ime and us is too big, they may not abandon Ime and switch to our side. In the face of such a big issue of right and wrong, Buddhist people will make the best choice for them, and they will do so very quickly, the Dragon Emperor said. Su Junming nodded. Think about it, in the Romance of the Gods, where Sanking himself suffered a bruise and a swollen face. Buddhism traveled through 3,000 mortal worlds and made a huge profit, which directly laid the foundation for the great prosperity. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 664. In Journey to the West, Monkey King beat the heaven to pieces, and Tathagata came belatedly, suppressed Monkey King, and laid the foundation for the spread of Buddhism to the east. All the timing is just right. Su Junming shook his head. Buddhism conflicts with the teachings of our Chongshan Academy. This is a fundamental contradiction. Moreover, I don't want them to take advantage of us being stained with murder. The Dragon Emperor nodded. Suddenly, a bright yellow spiritual light shot up on the Creation Spirit Island. The two looked at each other and moved in sync. Arriving on the island in an instant. It was soon discovered that the spiritual light came from under the white cliff in front. It turns out that the second gourd on the 7 treasure gourd vine under Lingyu Cliff has matured. Su Junming quickly understood. The two took a few steps forward. Sure enough, a yellow gourd that was 3 feet in size emitted a rich yellow aura under the cover of countless plump gourd leaves. The rich Wu Tu Dao charm emanates from it. Su Junming pointed his swords together and swung them freely, with sharp sword energy, instantly cutting off the second gourd. Reach out and make a move. The gourd flew toward his hand and slowly shrank. 3 feet turned into 1 foot. The spiritual consciousness is immersed, and the gourd contains 2 huge spaces. The one above is 3,000 feet in size and contains 109,800 grains of Gentoo spiritual sand. Lingsha can be divided or combined. The divisions fill the sky and the earth, covering the sky and the sun. Together they are as heavy as a mountain, suppressing heaven and earth. The lower one is 30,000 feet in size, with a square 9-foot earth platform suspended in the middle. There are 4 thick earth yellow pillars standing on all sides of the platform. On the pillars squats a tyrannical beast with a dragon head and a turtle body. Su Junming clearly sensed a Taoist charm of suppression, restraint, and sealing. Play with it and throw it to the Dragon Emperor. After checking with his spiritual consciousness, the latter put his backhand away. Hey, I just showed it to you, why did you put it away? The Dragon Emperor was expressionless. You have so many treasures in your hands, give this one to me. You have no shortage of treasures in your hands. My sunflower water spirit ring was given to Shang Guanhong, so this Wutu gourd can just make up for it. In the legend of Shushan swordsman, the most outstanding 4th-generation disciple of Yimei is Shang Guanhong. In terms of qualifications, understanding, opportunity, and perseverance, he is not inferior to core disciples such as Li Yingsheng and Zhou Qingyun. Since he wanted to poach Yimei's corner, Shang Guanhong certainly couldn't miss it. Have you found Shang Guanhong? I was discovered in the Phantom Wave Pond 3 years ago, and now I have been introduced to Wolong sect as my 4th disciple. Su Junming nodded. Shang Guanhong has a very good understanding. In the original work, he repeatedly played tricks on 2 evil monks such as Kui Ying and Sha Hanjian, who relied on the qi of Tianyumu. It would be appropriate for her to practice the 5 elements Taoism. Aren't you going back yet? Dragon Emperor asked. The birth of the devouring thief soul Dharma body, the 4-elephant sword formation and the Pantuo divine spear's weapon calamity were too loud and too eye-catching in the Shushan world. I'd better wait until these 3 things are completed before going back. The Dragon Emperor nodded and said, you have been practicing for 30 years and you still can't do it? I wanted to perfect these 2 treasures once and for all, so I spent a little more time. However, the big fat man is ready to be born. Su Junming slapped the green gourd on his waist, and a torrent of dark black water flew towards the 9-aperture spiritual fetus in the creation spirit pond. The latter is like a sponge absorbing water, quickly swallowing up all the dense torrent. These black clouds are the soul essence that Su Junming obtained from the many magic tools in West Kunlun. It is the essence of hundreds of millions of beast souls. All monks know that this thing can greatly strengthen the origin of their souls, but except for demon cultivators, few righteous people dare to make any decisions. After all, the karma of killing countless living beings is too strong. Su Junming also dared to use these trophies because he killed the demon cultivators. After receiving this powerful tonic, the body of the swallowing thief soul quickly became stronger. The rich spiritual energy contained in the 9 apertures divine stone is quickly absorbed by it. A powerful aura rose into the sky. I can't let him destroy this innate spiritual fetus. Su Junming stretched out his hand. A middle-aged Taoist priest with a fat body and a round face, wearing a coquettish red Taoist robe, a jade belt around his waist, mango shoes on his feet, and a black gourd crown on his head, flew out from the 9 apertures divine stone. He was instantly moved out of Chongshan residence by Su Junming. There was a boom. A huge black hole appeared in mid-air. Incredible devouring power came from it. The thin spiritual energy in the universe was torn in instantly. On the desolate planet below, the sand, soil, and rocks seemed to be rolled up by an angry dragon and thrown straight into the black hole. Then thunder and disaster rolled in. The wind is blowing and the flames are raging. The 3 disasters of metal, wood, and water gathered together. Su Junming once survived the 69 heavenly tribulation and reappeared on the desolate planet. Seeing this scale, Su Junming showed a hint of disappointment on his face. It's a pity. I originally thought he would be a golden immortal when he was born. There's nothing to be sorry for. Xianxian is already pretty good, the Dragon Emperor said. Yes, at least he is taller than you. The Dragon Emperor twitched the corner of his mouth, and there was a hint of depression in his eyes. After taking the Guangcheng Golden Pill, he relied on his previous accumulation to quickly advance to the level of true immortal. With the help of the remaining medicine, he reached the late stage of true immortal within half a year. In terms of the speed of practice, it can be said to be very fast. But if you want to become a Xianxian, you need at least 100 years of accumulation. Click. Thunder sounded, and dazzling electric sparks flashed. The 100-foot divine thunder fell down like a giant spear in the hand of a god. As a result, before the divine thunder could land on him, he was swallowed by the black hole above the head of the devouring thief Po-Dharma body. The following fire tribulations, wind tribulations, metal tribulations, wood tribulations, and water tribulations are still the same. It wasn't until the 8th heavenly tribulation that the black hole showed signs of failure. Suddenly, a black clay pot flew out of the Taoist body and merged into the black hole. The latter seemed to have taken Shiquan Dabu pills and instantly swelled 2 or 3 times. The powerful devouring power swallowed up all the calamity around him, just like eating noodles. Yes, we won't get any benefits this time. Su Junming shook his head. With a wave of his hand, he put away the thunder drum suspended in mid-air. By absorbing the thunder essence that escaped when he was overcoming the tribulation, he has trained the heavenly thunder drum to the 7th level of immortal taboo and advanced to a high-grade immortal weapon. I originally thought that I would still have the opportunity to swallow the thief soul Dharma body to overcome the tribulation, harvest another wave of thunder energy, and practice the 8th immortal forbidden realm, but now it seems that there is no chance. Looking at the swallowing thief soul Dharma body slowly falling from the air and sitting cross-legged on a stone about 10 feet in diameter with his eyes closed, he knew that the other party had been immersed in the inner demon tribulation. Hey hey hey! Suddenly, a burst of laughter rang out as the conspiracy succeeded. Coupled with the Dharma body of swallowing thieves, a body as round as a ball, a chubby face and small eyes, no matter how you look at it, you look vulgar. I'm really curious about what this guy's inner demon fantasy is, the Dragon Emperor said. Looking at the way his saliva was drooling, he probably saw something to eat, Su Junming said with a smile. Why isn't it good? Because he is the Dharma body that swallows the soul of a thief. The Dragon Emperor thought for a moment and nodded in agreement. Because there was a bronze mirror, the two of them didn't worry about each other not being able to survive the inner demon tribulation. After a short time, the black tribulation energy wrapped around the other party slowly disappeared. 1,000-foot thick innate creation essence emerged from the void and poured into the body of Yan Thief Po Fa. The breath that was originally stuck expanded again. A 9-foot-sized Qingyun emerged from the top door. In the middle of Qingyun is a 12th grade blue lotus. The Taoist fruit in the middle of the lotus is not as thick as a chicken, but a miniature black hole. A black clay pot, a golden boat, and a black iron block slowly rotate around the black hole. The cultivation level of Xianxian peak. Su Junming glanced at him. I really want to hear jealousy in your tone. The Dragon Emperor's face trembled, but he did not speak. However, he is indeed a little jealous. Everyone is a Dharmakaya. Why should he have to work hard to practice from scratch, while the other party can reach the sky in one step and directly reach the peak of Xianxian? I sighed inwardly. Being born early may not always be a good thing. Looking at the imposing fat man, Su Junming had a faint smile on his face. With such a Dharma body at the peak of Xianxian, he is more confident in capturing the old demon of Taicheng Mountain and shocking the Shushan cultivation world. As time passed, the aura on the body of the Dharma body of Tun Thief Po slowly returned to calmness. Shua, Two little eyes opened. There was a cunning charm in his eyes that were as cold as lightning. Under the attention of Su Junming and Dragon Emperor, Tun Thief Po Dharmakaya put on a flirty red Taoist robe, stood on the stone with his chest out and his belly open, his thick lips opened. He was full of ambition and spoke in a high tone. First there is Hung Jun and then there is Tien. De Jun Tai is still in front. He only lives 30 years old this year, and every year of chaos comes. Probably because he was too immersed in his own world and forgot that there was a stone under his feet. As soon as he took a step, he stepped on nothing in an instant. Plop, ouch. Looking at the fat man who fell firmly to the ground, the Dragon Emperor's head was instantly filled with black lines. My dear, I'm afraid this guy is not a fool. Su Junming sighed. Each of his 7 soul Dharma bodies has a different personality. Renwuji is bold and majestic, he behaves like a child, but he always speaks and acts in an old-fashioned way. The Dragon Emperor was cold and taciturn by nature. Ao Tien may be practicing the way of the Emperor, but he has a domineering and suspicious personality. Looking at it now, it is clear that the Dharma body swallowing the thief soul that was born in the heart is a lively character. Shua, get up from the ground. With no trace of embarrassment on his face, he cleaned the dirt on his body, tidied up the Taoist robe that had just covered his chest, coughed, and walked over. Third brother, speaking ill of people behind their backs is not what a gentleman does. Before the Dragon Emperor could speak, the devouring thief soul body came to Su Junming's side with a swish, and put his arms around his shoulders with a flattering smile on his face. My dear, let's discuss it and share some of the good wine you brew with me. Looking at his expectant eyes, Su Junming frowned slightly. How did you know I made wine? Hey, I've seen you sit in the pavilion beside the creation spirit pond and drink a few times. That was given by someone else. You have drunk the same wine dozens of times. Besides, who would give away fairy wine and give so much? I don't want more, just 3 altars. 3 altars? Why don't you go and grab them? I only have 9 altars in total. Su Junming, who had spilled the beans, took a step forward and disappeared in an instant. No wine. My dear, if you don't have 3 altars, 2 altars will do. Shua, the devouring thief soul Dharma body also disappeared. Seeing this, the Dragon Emperor shook his head. I didn't expect that the guy who came out this time was not only stupid, but also an alcoholic. But, the cultivation level at the peak of Xianxian is really enviable. The resentful voice disappeared into the empty and desolate planet. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 665. In the Chongshan cave of the Shushan world, there is a beautiful low mountain not far from Qinyun city. Situ Ping, wearing a green Taoist robe, stood with his hands behind his back. The fierce mountain wind blew his clothes. He stared at the city in the distance with calm eyes, determination in his expression. Suddenly, he frowned slightly. 2 rays of light flew towards them and landed on the ground, revealing 2 graceful figures, one purple and one green. They were the 2 Tianhu girls, Qin Ziling and Qin Hain. The latter was outspoken and asked, Senior Yi Zhou said, you refused to marry us. Good. Why? The 2 girls have captivated the country and are extremely beautiful. Situ Ping is ugly and dare not match them. Looking at her calm expression, Qin Ziling said, young master is humble. With his appearance, even if he is not as handsome as Panan, he is still handsome and outstanding. What's more, he is still a Chongshan respected by thousands of people in the spiritual world. A direct disciple of the academy. If we say we're not worthy, it's just that we sisters are not worthy of the young master. Situ Ping shook his head. Why do you 2 have to marry me after you are so beautiful, have extraordinary qualifications, and come from a famous family? If we talk about entanglement in the past life, it was a matter of the past life. Everything starts from scratch in this life, so why should you too be persistent? After a pause, Sidhu Ping's eyes lit up and he said in a deep voice. Or maybe the two girls insist on marrying me and have other plans. Qin Ziling was calm and showed no signs of abnormality. But Qin Hanyi's character was worse than that of Sister Nai, which made Sidhu Ping see the flaw. As expected. You two are obviously well prepared. Knowing that she couldn't hide it, Qin Ziling quickly said, fellow Taoist, please believe that we have absolutely no ill intentions. He waved his hand to interrupt her. No need to explain, I know. If you had malicious intentions, Senior Yi Zhou and Senior Yi Xiu would not personally come forward to reconcile the matter. However, no matter what your plans are, please come back. Young master, you dislike us for having the blood of Sky Fox? Qin Ziling asked. Sidhu Ping shook his head. Master said that all living beings are equal. There are good and evil among humans, demons, and ghosts. One cannot generalize and it is unfair. Therefore, I do not dislike you. It is just that I admire the Tao. I just want to practice cultivation wholeheartedly in this life and do not want to get involved in the personal affairs of my children. Please make it happen, two girls. After that, he cupped his fists and saluted, turned around and prepared to leave. Sir, please wait a moment. Sidhu Ping kept walking, but the sound from behind forced him to stop. Turning around slowly, the Qin sisters were kneeling on the ground. With a wave of his sleeves, a surging secret energy wanted to lift them up. But Qin Ziling's magic power was different from his, so she raised her hand to block it. Why are you two doing this? Sidhu Ping stepped aside. Please forgive us for our sin of concealment. The reason why the two of us married the young master was because our marriage was predetermined in our previous lives, and also because the young master in this life is the key to my mother's ability to survive the catastrophe, so I recommended myself to be our pillow mater. The past life is the past life, and this life is this life. There is no need to mention the past. The teaching of Chongshan Academy is to seek only this life and not the next life. Therefore, Sidhu Ping, who grew up under this kind of teaching, did not pursue any past or future, but only wanted to become an immortal and become an ancestor in this life. As for overcoming the tribulation, both the ancestor and the master have said that the tribulation is a test sent by heaven. Unless you practice enough, outsiders' help will only mislead others and yourself. What fellow Taoist said is true. However, my Tianhu clan is favored by God and is gifted with the magical powers Xiao Yin's life-cutting technique. As long as we find a man who matches his destiny, we can use his magic power to survive the catastrophe. Master Sidhu was born in the year of Renayan, the month of Renayan, the day of Renayan, and the time of Renayan. The four yin signs are in the same destiny, which is consistent with my mother's destiny. Qin Ziling leaned over and kowtowed. I also ask Mr. Sidhu to take pity on my sister's filial piety and help my mother survive the natural disaster. If we can succeed, my two sisters are willing to recommend themselves to pillow mats and grow old together with the master, never letting go. If you violate this oath, you will be punished by heaven and earth. Qin Hanyi, even though her sister was there, swore and looked firm. Sidhu Ping has a steady mind and is also a filial person. Hearing what they said, I was quite touched. This matter is important. I will consider it for a few days before I can reply to you. This is as it should be. We are waiting for news from the young master. After Sidhu Ping nodded, his figure disappeared instantly. Qin Ziling took a breath and slowly stood up. Sister, do you think he can agree? Looking at the direction Sidhu Ping left. Master Sidhu has a kind heart, I believe he will agree. What if nothing goes wrong after interrupting his sister? No matter what, we require Mr. Sidhu's consent. Qin Hanyi nodded, do you really want to marry him? No, but for my mother, I will marry him. Seeing the determination on his sister's face, Qin Hanyi sighed, if we join Chongshan Academy, maybe we can help our mother survive the catastrophe without marrying him. Qin Ziling's face changed slightly. Maybe we could give it a try. Sister, didn't mother want us to join the Imei sect? The Imei sect is certainly good, but Chongshan Academy is stronger. And as you said, becoming a fellow disciple with fellow Taoist Sidhu may make it easier for my mother to overcome the calamity. What if my mother doesn't agree? The most important thing is to let my mother survive the catastrophe safely. As for the other things, I can't care about that much. Qin Ziling's attitude became more and more determined. Let's go to Jinding Peak. A bolt of escaping light rushed up and flew straight towards Kikshuan Cliff in mid-air. Sister, why do we go to Jinding Peak? There is the Sankei divine sect of Chongshan Academy there. Only by passing the test of the human soul divine sect can one become a disciple. Along with the sound of talking, the two of them flew farther and farther away. Sidhu Ping returned to Biang Peak of Kixuanya with deep thoughts, which is where the direct disciples of Chongshan Academy practice Taoism. However, most of the direct disciples are practicing outside. He would only stay here temporarily when he returned to the sect to discuss matters or when he was breaking through. The same is true for Sidhu Ping. Biang Peak looks only a few hundred feet in size from the outside, but after flying in, everything in front of you expands rapidly. A world covering tens of thousands of acres, with crisscrossing rivers, eucalyptus trees, and lush flowers, appears in front of us. The spiritual energy in Chang'an Cave in Chongshan is very strong, but the spiritual energy here is even stronger. Sidhu Ping flew into a valley with ease. The valley is not very vast. There is a bamboo forest on the left and various flowers and trees in full bloom on the right. A stream about 10 feet wide passes through the middle. On the left side of the stream, backed by a bamboo forest, there is a two-story bamboo building. The bamboo house looks extremely simple. As soon as Sidhu Ping came in, he saw a handsome young man wearing a blue Taoist robe sitting cross-legged on a clean and flat rock on the right side of the bamboo building. A purple sword box was placed across his knees. A dense green air surrounds the young man. The moment Sidhu Ping landed, the young man opened his eyes instantly. The sharp eyes made people feel chilled in their hearts. Seeing that it was Sidhu Ping, the young man's eyes gradually dimmed, and the green aura around him also disappeared. As soon as he took a step, the purple sword box originally placed on his knees automatically flew behind him. Sidhu Ping pays homage to senior brother. Zhuge Liuyun walked over with a smile. Junior brother, I heard that you have been very lucky recently. Senior brother, please stop making fun of me. This thing is really annoying me. Trouble? The two daughters of Tianhu are beautiful and talented. They are a good match that others can only ask for. Why are you still unwilling to marry me? Besides, we can't help but get married, what are you worried about? Sidhu Ping smiled bitterly. Elder brother, I only have the Dao in my heart right now, and I can't pretend to have an affair with my children. Besides, there are many direct disciples in our sect, and they are all dedicated to ascetic cultivation. Who has a Taoist companion? Second junior uncle has it, he patted him on the shoulder, don't put so much pressure on yourself. If you like it, just agree. If you don't like it, don't force it. Sidhu Ping nodded. By the way, senior brother, aren't you sitting in Taiyuan Upper Court? Why are you back? Not just me, master and your second senior brother are also back. Sidhu Ping's mind flashed with lightning and he blurted out. 30 years to give medicine. All the direct disciples of Chongshan who came to Chongshan later have heard about the incident where their master distributed treasures and bestowed elixirs in Chongshan residents 30 years ago. A Guangcheng golden pill, which can wait for thousands of years to cultivate, is the motivation for all the direct disciples of Chongshan to practice hard for 30 years. Junior brother, you have been practicing hard since you started. This time, Master will give you the elixir, so there is no chance that you will be a part of it. There was a hint of fire in Situ Ping's eyes, but it quickly subsided. The direct descendants of our sect are all talented and perseverant people. I started late, so I may not be as good as the senior brothers and sisters in front of me. Don't be discouraged. You will know everything after trying it. Situ Ping nodded and was about to say something. Suddenly, a loud bell rang. After 3 consecutive sounds, a lotus phantom suddenly bloomed in the sky. The phantom of a lotus, which is blue in color and as big as a mountain, is suspended above Kixuan Peak and can be seen by almost everyone in Chongshan Cave. Senior brother, it seems we have another disciple. Situ Ping was very familiar with this scene, after all, that was how he came here back then. Let's go and have a look at Jinding Peak. Zhuge Liuyun nodded and rose into the sky. Situ Ping quickly followed. Countless streams of light flew towards Jinding Peak. There are 7 peaks in Kixuan Cliff. In addition to the central giant peak in the middle, it is surrounded by 6 peaks: Qingyun, Biang, Heiyu, Chiming, Zixiao and Jinding. Qingyun is the place where the inner disciples practice, and Biang is the place where the direct disciples practice. The Black Prison is a place where disciples who violate the sect's rules are imprisoned, as well as captured demon cultivators, evil cultivators, and monster beasts. It is also the place that Chongshan disciples least want to go. Chiming Peak is where the library, the weapon refining room, the alchemy room, and the treasure room are located. Zixiao Peak is a place for preaching and for disciples to compete in martial arts. Jinding Peak houses the Sankei Divine Gate, and it is also the place where Kongshanfang City is held every time. At this time, all kinds of escaping lights gathered on the Golden Cauldron Peak, and countless disciples looked at each other to see which disciple with outstanding talent had passed the Earth-level test of the human soul divine sect that made countless inner disciples despair. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 666. Chapter 649, The 3 heroes begin and worship together at the Golden Palace. Is it them? After following his senior brother here, Situ Ping immediately saw the 2 heavenly fox girls sitting cross-legged in the lotus seat above the human soul divine gate. Obviously, the other party was afraid that he would disagree, so he came directly to become his disciple. It seems I don't have to worry about Taoist companions anymore. I was secretly relieved. He only wanted to practice Taoism and did not want to find any Taoist companions. Now that the 2 Tianhu girls have become classmates, helping each other is out of friendship, and there is no need to repay the favor with one's own body. However, in addition to the 2 Tianhu girls, there was also a dashing young girl wearing a light cyan dress and a ponytail who passed the test of the human soul gate. Suddenly, a green light shot past the sky, pinched the 3 people, and disappeared instantly. Gradually, the light of the human soul divine gate gradually converged and returned to normal. A large number of inner disciples talked to each other, regretted, and expected, and left in 2s and 3s. Those 2 just now were the 2 Tianhu girls, Zhuge Liuyun said. Situ Ping nodded. I didn't expect them to pass the test of the human soul gate. I didn't expect that either. At this moment, in the Chongshan Hall of Central Peak, Su Junming is sitting at the top, and below are Chiao Shaoxin, Yan Chixia, Su Huang, Zhuge Wolong, and Miao Chufang. 30 years have passed, and all 5 of them have become true immortals with the help of Guangcheng Golden Pill. However, Chiao Shaoxin's cultivation level is still the highest and has reached the late stage of true immortal. It can be seen that knowing how to make elixirs will really help your cultivation a lot. Especially for a sect like Chongshan Academy, where moral conduct is often higher than magical power. Qin Xiling and Qin Hain meet you all. The 2 Tianhu girls hurriedly knelt down. Yu Yingnan met his master and all of his uncles. Your name is Yu Yingnan. Exactly. Su Junming thought to himself, I didn't expect that the Dragon Emperor was right. This Yu Yingnan has really started to get started a long time ago. I see that your cultivation has reached the late stage of Jindan. Why don't you go test your qualifications earlier? This disciple has always felt that his qualifications are dull, so he did not go to the human soul divine sect to test. Why did you go this time? The disciple passed the test of Tianshan Gate. Before going down the mountain to practice Taoism, he gave it a last try and passed it unexpectedly. Speaking of this, her tone was full of joy. She was obviously very happy to have passed the earth-level test of the human soul divine sect among the inner disciples, which was said to be more difficult than climbing to heaven. Su Junming nodded slowly. No matter what, Yu Yingnan finally became his disciple at Chongshan Academy. Yan Chixia. Master. She will become your disciple. Well, all my disciples are men. It is precisely because your disciples are all men that I allowed her to join your section, otherwise, over time, all of you masters and disciples will probably become Lu men, and you will not even know how to talk to women. Yan Chixia smiled bitterly and had no choice but to agree. Su Junming opened his palms and flew towards Yu Yingnan with a long purple sword. This Chisu sword was refined in my spare time, and I will give it to you today. Disciple, thank you master for the treasure. Chisu sword is an immortal weapon, and it was indeed refined by Su Junming. With his current level of weapon refining, it would be easy to refine a low-grade immortal weapon. After smiling, Su Junming turned his eyes. The eyes that were as deep as an abyss, as if she could see through her instantly, made Qin Xiling quickly lower her head. Didn't your mother ask you to join the Ime sect? Why did you try the test of the human soul sect? Or do you just want to test your qualifications? Qin Xiling was shocked. After some hesitation, I decided to tell the truth. I don't dare to deceive the real king. Mother did allow us to join Ime's sect, but she needs the help of the 4 Yin Zhengming people to survive the catastrophe. And this person of 4 Yin Zhengming is none other than Taoist fellow Sidu Ping. Moreover, the ascetic Taochuo senior of Ime also said that my 2 sisters and fellow Taoist Sidu are destined Taoist companions. That's why my mother asked Senior Yi Zhou and Senior Yi Xiu to propose marriage on her behalf. The idea is that if the 2 families become in-laws, it will be much easier to overcome the disaster. Unfortunately, fellow Taoist Sidu, he is devoted to cultivating and has no personal feelings for his children. He is also very affectionate and polite to my sister. This junior has no choice but to go against his mother's orders and come to be a disciple in order to save his mother's life. The above statements are all from my true heart, and there is absolutely no lie at all. Please also ask Senior Jun to review. After saying that, he knelt down and bowed his head, which was extremely polite. Qin Hani followed behind his sister and saluted with great discipline. Looking at the 2 people, Su Junming nodded secretly in his heart. Qin Xiling's description is reasonable and consistent with the description in Shushan. As for the Qin sisters, they are all innate Dao bodies, and their qualifications are top-notch in this world. Especially Qin Xiling, even in Ime who had collected most of the talented people in the world, she was also one of the 4 female disciples. Her name was no worse than Dengbaguo, Yijing, and Legu. Qin Hanyi's qualifications were no worse than her sisters, but she was too competitive, so she suffered some losses in the early stage, but became more stable later on. If it weren't for the 9 Heavens Mysterious Sutra passed down from Ime that required Yuan Yang to achieve enlightenment, she might not have been able to achieve immortality together with Sidu Ping. You 2 sisters are really willing to join my Chongshan sect? Willing. Qin Xiling was categorical. If there was still some hesitation at the beginning, but now that he has passed the test of the human soul divine sect, the matter is a foregone conclusion, and he instantly becomes firm. Su Junming nodded slightly. Look at all the disciples under the sect. After some brief consideration. Chu Fang. Master. Miao Chu Fang responded. Qin Xiling comes to your door. Yes. Although Qin Ziling's background is a bit complicated, but just seeing that she is still clear-headed, calm in tone, and logical under the pressure of everyone, I know that she is a spiritual seed with a firm mind. Miao Chufang was extremely satisfied to be able to take her under her wing. Xiner. Master. Qiao Shaoxin responded. Qin Hanyi comes to your door. A trace of surprise flashed in Qiao Shaoxin's eyes. Originally, he thought that the two Tianhu girls would become Miao Chufang's disciples like the Fu sisters, but he never thought that the master would separate them. Based on her understanding of her master, there must be a reason for doing this. Moreover, if Qin Hanyi could pass the DZI level test of the human soul divine sect, his aptitude, understanding, and perseverance must be extraordinary, so it would be appropriate for him to be taught by his sect. Su Junming did have his own considerations in splitting up the two sisters. Qin Hanyi has been under the protection of his sister for a long time and rarely suffers losses. He has a competitive temperament and is quite domineering. That's why they separated the sisters. Qiao Shaoxin's lineage has been practicing medicine for many years, and she can best see the suffering of ordinary people. Any disciple who is kind-hearted but lacks discipline and training will undergo a huge change after practicing medicine with her. That's why Qin Hanyi was allowed to become her disciple. And Qin Ziling is determined, no matter who she becomes as a disciple, she will always be the best. Among the three female disciples under his sect, Miao Chufang had the least disciple and was relatively weak, so he simply gave Qin Ziling to her. Opening his palm, two swords, one green and one purple, emerged and slowly flew towards the two women. The purple was given to Qin Ziling, and the cyan was given to Qin Hain. These are the green spirit sword and purple spirit sword that I refined and gave them to you. These two swords, like the Chisu sword given to Yu Yingnan earlier, are low-grade immortal weapons from the three immortals. After he exterminated the demons in West Kunlun, he used the metal energy separated from many magic weapons to create it. Specially used to reward new disciples. Thank you, Master, for the treasure. The two took it respectfully. The sword in your hand makes people happy, but Qin Ziling is more worried about your own mother's fate. He hesitated for a while, but didn't know what to say. Worried about your mother's catastrophe. The words ringing in her ears shocked Qin Ziling and she nodded quickly. That's fine. Chufang. Master. Is Hongying out of confinement? Already out of seclusion. Let her go to the East China Sea to protect Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang from the disaster. With a pat of the green gourd on her waist, a green porcelain vase flew towards Miao Chufang. Let her hold this bottle of 9 yellow qi replenishing pills. This bottle of pills is enough for Tianhu to survive the 49 heavenly tribulations. As for the inner demon tribulation, if she indulges in it, use a bronze mirror to shine on her Ajananuan palace. This time Su Junming advanced to Xianxian, and a new magical power appeared in the bronze mirror. It's called Demon-Breaking Divine Light. It turns out that the bronze mirror protects the mind and eliminates inner demons, which is just a passive skill. Passive skills now become active. Of course, using the bronze mirror projection to use the demon-breaking divine light is definitely not as good as the original body in Su Junming's Danshan. However, Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang is only used to overcome the tribulation of heaven and immortality, and the bronze mirror projection is enough. Disciple, thank you Master. Qin Ziling said excitedly. Since you have become my Chongshan disciple, our sect will naturally help you to solve your worries. Just practice well in the future. Disciple obeys the order and will practice hard in the future to repay the teacher's deep kindness. Su Junming smiled and nodded, then waved his sleeves. Several streams of light flew into the bodies of the Qin sisters and Yu Yingnan respectively. Those are the standard carry-on cave heaven and green bamboo staff for the direct disciples of Chongshan, the yellow gourd that indicates the identity of the third generation of disciples, the projection of the Sankei Shenmen, and the crucial bronze mirror projection. Xiner, Your senior brother is not here, so you go ring the golden bell. Disciple, obey. Qiao Shaoxin flew out of the hall. The mighty bells instantly resounded throughout the three worlds of Shushan, Huaxia, and Chongshan. All the direct disciples of Chongshan put down everything in their hands the moment they heard the bell, and projected it with the help of the human soul divine gate and the soul formation laid out by Su Junming himself in the central hall. In the shocked eyes of the Qin sisters and Yu Yingnan, countless powerful auras suddenly appeared in the hall. Although they have more or less heard rumors about the strength of their sect, they are indistinguishable from Imei in the righteous way. But I discovered today that our sect's strength is far beyond what the outside world thought. The number of powerful auras that clearly reached the fairyland or even surpassed the fairyland was beyond the imagination of the three of them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 667. Chapter 650, The Golden Bell Rings in the Jade Palace. The Chongshan sect is brilliant. The Qin sisters, who originally joined Chongshan Academy in order to save their mother, suddenly felt lucky in their hearts when they looked at the impressive group of senior brothers and sisters around them. The second-generation disciples of Chongshan Academy were still 10 people half a century ago. From front to back, they are the great sage Fuxian Qinzhong, True Monarch Wuji Lin Zhenying, Fairy Kong Sang Qiao Shaoxin, the Bearded Sword Saint Yan Chixia, Ice Phoenix Fairy Su Huang, Zhuo Long, the Five Sacred Master, the Patriarch of Hunyuan Chen Lin, Our Lady of Red Flowers Miao Chufang, Haoshan Ren Shang Taijin, Xian Huang Jinren Pan Nao. In order to balance the strength of the disciples, Su Junming refined a lot of human yellow elixir for Miao Chufang, Shang Taijin, and Pan Nao. In half a century, and with the addition of the last Guangcheng Golden Pill, the three of them had achieved the realm of true immortals just like the previous brothers and sisters. However, the three of them are only in the early stages of true immortality, unlike disciples like Lin Zhenying and Qiao Shaoxin who have reached the middle and late stages of true immortality. Even Qinzhong, with the support of Su Junming's great witch essence and blood, has reached the peak of a middle-grade general. There are more direct disciples of the third generation of Chongshan Academy than before. Under Qinzhong's sect, there are still two disciples, Ye Tianyun and Wang Chao. Lin Zhenying's sect, in addition to Yang Rong, Lin Rui, and Zhou Qing, has another disciple Fang Ying. In the Chinese world, he also passed the Dizi level test of the human soul divine sect. There are already 7 disciples of Qiao Shaoxin's sect, including the new disciple Qin Hanyi. The eldest disciples are Gongsun Juniang, Ning Keichin, Sidu Minjiao, Jin Yun, Gu Yu, Yang Yunchen, and Qin Hain. There are 4 disciples of Yan Chixia. The first disciple is Zhuj Liu Yun, the second disciple is Pang Xian, the third disciple is Sidu Ping, and the fourth disciple is Yu Yingnan who is new to the profession. There are also 8 disciples under Su Huang. The eldest disciple Fu Qingfeng, followed by Fu Yueqi, Tang Zikan, Deng Baguo, Su Yuchen, Yi Jing, Zhu Feng, and Li Yingsheng. There are 4 disciples of Zhuo Longmen. The first disciple is Gu Hong, the second disciple is Shi Sheng, the third disciple is Huo Wuhei, and the fourth disciple is Shang Guanhong. There are 4 disciples of Chen Lin. In addition to Su Finiang, Yu Qinbin, and Lin Yuan who came from the Shushan world, they also accepted a new disciple in the Huaxia world. Li Xiaoao. There are 5 disciples of Miao Chufang. The first disciple Xie Hongying, the second disciple Lu Yuniang, the third disciple Miao Ying, the fourth disciple Zhou Qingyun, and the new 5th disciple Qin Xiling. If Shi Longgu could survive the innate sexual desire in her body and become an earthly immortal, she would be the 6th disciple of Miao Chufang's sect. The reason why he only accepts disciples at this level is because only by becoming an immortal can he be completely reborn and wash away the natural sexual desire in his body. This is also a test. If it can be overcome, Shilonggu's perseverance and character will definitely reach a higher level. Coupled with her excellent talent, her future is no worse than that of Li Yingxiang and others. There is only one Li Jinchen under Shang Taijin. There are at least 2 disciples in Panluo's sect. The eldest disciple Nangongling and the junior disciple Chen Qinglan. Chongshan world and Huaxia world are limited by their population size, and their heritage is not as good as Shushan world. After a period of time, not many people can truly pass the earth-level test of the human soul divine sect. Chongshan world is better. More than 90% of the world's population is controlled by Chongshan Academy. It can bring all the outstanding talents in this world into the palm of its hand. There are powerful secular political powers in the Chinese world, and there are competitions among various sects and factions. The only population truly controlled by the academy is the millions in the Chongshan Huaxia cave. With an insufficient population base, there are naturally fewer talents to choose from. Seeing that the scale had become much larger and the disciples gathered together, Su Junming was satisfied. Except for 10 second-generation disciples who have become true immortals. Among the third-generation disciples, there are Ye Tianyuan, Wang Chao, Yang Rong, Lin Rui, Zhou Qing, Gong Sun Juniang, Ning Keichan, Gu Yu, Zuch Liu Yuan, Fu Qingfeng, Fu Yueqi, Tang Zikan, Deng Baguo, Zhou Feng, Gu Hong, Huo Harmless, Su Finiang, Yu Qinbin, Lin Yuan. These disciples who have practiced Taoism for 200 to 300 years, or even longer, have advanced to the middle stage of Earth Immortal in the past half a century, taking the Guangcheng Golden Pill in advance and becoming true immortals. Situ Minjiao, Jin Yun, Pang Xian, Su Yuchen, Shi Sheng, Xie Hongying, Lu Yuniang, Miao Ying, these people who have practiced Taoism for a long time, are now in the early stage of Earth Immortal. The remaining ones like Li Yingxiang, Zhou Qingyuan, Li Jinchen, Shang Guanhong, and others have only been practicing Taoism for 10 years, and most of them are wandering around Yuanying. The 3 generations of disciples of Chongshan were also divided into 3 different grades. Yudao is what everyone adds to the flames. As Chongshan Academy continues to develop, the sect's destiny becomes stronger and stronger, which feeds back to him, the leader of the section. Even without the bronze mirror, his understanding has improved a lot. In fact, it's not just Su Junming who is satisfied. All the direct disciples felt extremely honored when they saw the current prosperous situation of the sect. But what everyone was more curious about was whether the man who appeared next to Ao Tian, wearing a sexy red robe, with a round face and sly eyes, was a fat man taking a sip of wine. Streams of spiritual consciousness flew through the air, and everyone was communicating and asking each other. But no one knew him except Su Junming. Cough. With a slight cough, the hall instantly became audible. Half a year has passed since we last met. The strength of our Chongshan Academy is increasing day by day. Today, there are 29 true immortals in the sect. No matter in the Chinese world or the Shushan world, they are the well-deserved number 1 section door. However, true immortals are only in the second stage of the 4 realms of immortals. Above, there are stronger mysterious immortals and golden immortals. I hope all disciples will guard against arrogance and impetuosity, practice hard, and reach new heights. We will obey the master's orders. The crowd shouted loudly. Su Junming smiled and nodded. 30 years ago, I said that those who work hard should be given the Guangcheng Golden Pill. Now, after excluding the 29 pills used, there are still 7 pills left. Because Qin Zhong, Ye Tianyuan, and Wang Chao practiced martial arts, they did not use Guangcheng Jindan, but received the Great Witch Essence and blood rewarded by Su Junming. Therefore, in addition to the 3 used by him, Renwuji and Dragon Emperor, there were 26 used by the second and third generation disciples. Of the 36 Guangchen golden pills, only 7 are left. The eyes of the disciple who has not yet advanced to the level of true immortal suddenly became hot. Jin Yun. The disciple is here. Jin Yun, who was wearing a green Taoist robe and had 3 eyes on his forehead, suddenly stood up. He still looks like the young boy he was when he entered Taoism. But his temperament is much more mature and steady. She glanced at him with a smile. Pang Xian. Pang Xian, who was wearing a moon-white Taoist robe and carrying a sword box on his back, stood up quickly. He and Jin Yun started training at almost the same time, and their cultivation levels are also similar. Therefore, among the 3 generations of disciples of Chongshan, the relationship between the two is the best except for the brothers and sisters. Siduping. Siduping was stunned for a moment. He thought that he was only half a year old when he started. Although he devoted himself to cultivation, he was never as good as those disciples who started first. He never thought that the Guangchen golden pill that all his brothers and sisters in the same sect wanted so much would one day fall on him. Junior brother. At Pang Xian's reminder, Siduping stood up in a panic. Looking at the worried young man across from him, Su Junming had appreciation on his face. In the original work, Siduping is called a bitter boy. Not only did her parents die when she was young, but she was still obsessed with revenge and had a twisted mind. Su Finiang was bullied by Xue Mang, the 3-eyed red cat, and was beaten at every turn. After finally escaping from the sea of suffering, he became a disciple of Yimei, but he was not taken seriously at all. Still Yuxiu couldn't stand it, so he gave him a pair of spiritual treasures he had obtained in his early years, the oolong scissors. However, this does not mean that Siduping's qualifications are not good. He is dedicated to the Tao, and his talent, understanding, and perseverance are excellent. The most critical reason for the rough situation is poor background. There was a mother who was born in an evil way and was named Zhongsangwu, the female disaster god. It wouldn't matter if he was just born in an evil way. After all, Xiaoxiu, the mother of the Zhen brothers among the 7 dwarfs, the ghost mother, was not a good person either. But it shouldn't be. Zhongsangwu is a direct disciple of Tai Hunyuan, patriarch of the Wutai sect. The Wutai sect has a life and death feud with Yimei. Su Junming would not have done such a thing if he had trained his enemy's son to become a talented person. What's more, Zhongsangwu still has a deep feud with Grandma Jin Luoxian. Luoxian not only has an extraordinary background, but is also a die-hard supporter of Yimei. With such a background, the Yimei sect was merciful by not killing him, so how could it be possible for him to get the true inheritance? Even when he first read the legend of Shushan swordsman, Su Junming always felt that it must be someone from Yimei who saw that Siduping's aptitude and understanding were really good, especially his perseverance. Only then did Qin Hain, the second daughter of Tianhu, destroy his Yuan Yang before he could enter Taoism. Then he was brought into Yimei. The characteristic of Yimei Kung Fu is that one cannot become an immortal without a child's body. Therefore, Siduping is no longer a threat and cannot become the second Tai Hunyuan patriarch. Speaking of which, Qin Hanyi was also quite unlucky. The 2 sisters have similar talents and similar understandings. If they are trained properly, becoming immortals will not be a problem. Just because Qin Xiling, her sister, was a disciple of Tianyi Jinmu in her previous life, her situation was very different. Qin Xiling became the 4 major female disciples of Yimei and the master of Xiun Palace. And Qin Hanyi destroyed Yuanyan, and together with Siduping, he became a marginalized figure in Yimei. Therefore, whether in the mortal world or in the spiritual world, your fate is almost determined from the moment you are born. Only a few people with extraordinary talent and strong perseverance can break free from the cage and change their own destiny. Of course, in this life, because of the appearance of Su Junming and the increasingly powerful Chongshan Academy, the fate of too many people has been changed. It also changed Siduping's fate. After practicing steadily for nearly 30 years under Yan Chixia's sect, I have reached the edge of breaking through to the soul. The foundation is even more solid. As long as he continues to practice step by step and cooperates with his extraordinary and strong perseverance, not only the heavenly immortals, but also the golden immortals will have great hope in the future. Therefore, Su Junming valued him very much. This time he was specifically included in the reward list. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 668. Chapter 651, Fifth Master, True Lord Tai. Yijing. Yijing, who was wearing a purple dress and looked great, stood up quickly. This is another person whose destiny was changed by Su Junming. Now that she has advanced to the late stage of Yuan Shen, she has awakened the memory of Bai Yanu in her previous life. Because Zhu Penpo was captured by her current master, Su Huang, and she was avenged for her murder. Therefore, without the constraints of hatred, her character is no longer as violent as in the original work, but she is more grateful to her master and has a stronger sense of belonging to the sect. Shi Sheng. Wearing a light green Taoist robe, with a face like a crown jade, and a golden crown on his head, Shi Sheng, who looked like a noble son of a troubled world, stood up quickly. Shi Hung was among the disciples who advanced to the level of Earth Immortal, and his cultivation level was the highest. He is already approaching the middle stage of Earth Immortal. He will be able to break through in 2 or 3 years at most. After all, with the support from Chongshan sect and Li Jingxiu, there is no shortage of elixirs and magic weapons, so the advancement will naturally be faster. The only person who could compare with him was Situ Minjiao. Situ Minjiao knew how to make alchemy herself, and she also had a master whose level of alchemy was second only to Su Junming. With a continuous supply of elixirs and the blessing of the realm by the bronze mirror, the practice is naturally fast. Xie Hongying. Lu Yuniang. The two of them stood up at the same time, one red and the other purple. Hearing this, the person whose name was called was naturally full of joy, while the 3 people whose names were not called, Situ Minjiao, Su Yuchen and Miao Ying, looked disappointed. Especially Situ Minjiao, her current cultivation level is only 1 step away from the middle stage of Earth Immortal. She is majoring in the Dao of Creation realm and will soon be able to advance to the level of True Immortal. She fully thought that she would have her share of the Guangcheng Golden Pill. If she could get it, she would be able to become a True Immortal within 5 years at most. Unexpectedly, I was defeated in the end. Some people are happy and some are worried, this is normal. Su Junming said that fairness is guaranteed, but it is not 100% fair. Just like this time, 2 disciples from Yan Chixia's sect and Miao Chufang's sect were selected, and they obviously got more. This is for balance reasons. Not to mention Shang Taijin and Pan Luo, their disciples have only been in the school for 10 years, and they don't even have Yuanying, so it would be a waste to give it to them. Even though they know they can't get it, they won't think twice about it. There are only 8 true disciples left, including Qin Zhong, Lin Zhenying, and Xiao Shaoxin. Only Yan Chixia and Miao Chufang have the fewest disciples who have advanced to become true immortals. After all, under Yan Chixia's sect, Zhuge Liuyun, who was known as the number 1 disciple among the 3 generations, was a true immortal. Miao Chufang's disciples are all barefaced. This gap can easily lead to internal instability. That's why he wanted to bridge this gap. Situ Minjiao, Su Yuchen, Miao Ying, do you think it's unfair? Disciples don't dare. The 3 people said quickly. Haha, I say I don't dare, but I dare in my heart. But it's not surprising to think so. After all, your cultivation level is not much worse than the 7 of them, or even stronger. But there are only 7 golden elixirs, and some people are destined to not get them. His eyes quickly swept over the 3 of them. Seeing their lonely looks, Su Junming changed his tone. However, you have been practicing hard for the past half a century and have never slackened off. Master, I have also seen it. Although Guangcheng Jindan does not have your share, Master, I have cultivated a batch of Daihuang Immortal Pill over the years. Although it's not like the Guangcheng Golden Pill, one pill can repair 1,000 years of cultivation, but it can save 500 years of hard work. Today I will give each of you 1 grain. The 3 of them were pleasantly surprised. I thought I would get nothing, but I didn't expect there would be compensation in the end. Moreover, although the Daihuang elixir is not as valuable as the Guangcheng Golden elixir, it can still save 500 years of hard work and is of extraordinary value. Situ Minjiao. The disciple is here. I will give you another top-grade immortal weapon, the Wooding Divine Axe. Situ Minjiao was stunned for a moment. What, you don't want to? No, I just didn't expect it. Thank you Master for the treasure, Situ Minjiao said quickly. The Daihuang elixir plus a high-grade immortal weapon seems to be better than the simple Guangcheng Golden elixir. Su Yuchen. The disciple is here. This female disciple who was trained by Ju Panpo to become the 9 sons' mother and heavenly demon mother, and was later refined into a physical body by Su Junming using the innate Taishi's fundamental energy of creation and resurrected, has become an earth immortal after a period of 60 years. Seeing the expectation in her eyes, Su Junming spread his palms. A yellow gourd appeared in the palm of his hand. This is not the Wu-Tu gourd picked from the vine of Kaibao gourd, but the goddess he made by taking some sand grains from the Wu-Tu gourd and combining it with the natal fairy weapon of the sand god boy, Lu Desire Red Dust Sand. Sand gourd. It is also a top-grade fairy weapon. I will give you a pill of earthly yellow elixir and a top-grade immortal weapon Sacred Sand Gourd. With a wave of his hand, the yellow gourd and porcelain bottle flew towards Su Yuchen. Disciple, thank you Patriarch for the treasure. The latter pressed the joy button and quickly took it. Miao Ying. The disciple is here. Looking at the girl wearing a pink skirt who hurriedly bowed to salute. The little girl who followed Miao Chufang to listen to the sermons back then is now a graceful person. The big round eyes looked at the ancestor secretly, and their eyes were also full of expectation. Now not only does she have no regrets in her heart, she is even glad that she did not get the Guangcheng Golden Pill. The value of a top-grade immortal weapon is comparable to that of the Guangcheng Golden Pill, not to mention the earthly yellow immortal pill that can replenish 500 years of cultivation. The 2 items added together are stronger than Guangcheng Golden Pill. I heard from your master that you are extremely talented in weapon refining, and you have already obtained her true inheritance at a young age. Master's wonderful praise, my disciple's weapon refining level is still far behind that of my mentor. I see, then I won't give you this treasure now. When your weapon refining level reaches 70% of your master's level, I will give it to you again. Master. Seeing that she was hesitant to speak but didn't know how to say it, Su Junming laughed haha. Forget it, I won't tease you anymore. Opening his left palm, a golden basin appeared in his palm. Guangcheng Golden Basin. Originally, Su Junming planned to sacrifice it and refine it into a top-grade fairy weapon. However, the hardware and spiritual materials obtained after refining those magic weapons were only enough to make it into a top-grade fairy weapon. Therefore, Su Junming made this cornucopia and several fairy swords. I will give you a pill of earthly yellow elixir and a top-grade fairy weapon treasure bowl. Disciple, thank you Master for the treasure. Seeing this, Situ Ping breathed a sigh of relief. He had not yet reached the perfection of nascent soul, so he had the mercy of his ancestor and received a Guangcheng Golden Pill. Among the senior brothers and sisters who received the elixir, they had the lowest cultivation level and the most junior qualifications. Therefore, I felt anxious and worried about getting into trouble. Now that he saw that his aunt had also received a reward and seemed to be better than him, he finally didn't have to worry that he and his aunt had a misunderstanding and were estranged from each other. Su Junming slapped the gourd on his waist, and 6 or 7 porcelain vases flew in all directions. All new disciples who started within 10 years would be rewarded. Even the 2 Tianhu girls are no exception. And they are all elixirs that are right at or higher than their current realm. For example, Qin Xiling, who was at the peak of nascent soul, got a bottle of 9 yellow pills. This is a qi-enhancing elixir that is only taken during the Yuan Shen stage. For her now, although it is a bit high-end, it is also a great supplement. For a time, everyone was happy. Quiet. Su Junming gave the order. The hall quickly became quiet. I have called you together today not only to fulfill the promise made 30 years ago, but also to allow all the new disciples to get familiar with their fellow disciples, so as to avoid making jokes when we meet in the future. In addition, from today on, all disciples who become immortals are allowed to open mountains and recruit disciples, Su Junming said. In the past, anyone who passed the Zi level test of the human soul divine sect would be randomly arranged among second-generation disciples such as Qin Zhong, Lin Zhenying, and Su Huang. If there are similar disciples in the future, the third generation of disciples can accept them as disciples. This means that from now on, Chongshan Academy will usher in the fourth generation of disciples. Of course, if the second generation disciple still wants to accept a disciple, the sect will not interfere. Finally, let me introduce you. Su Junming stretched out his hand. This is your 5th master uncle, Tai Zhenjun. Why don't you come forward to pay your respects? The disciples who had already made guesses quickly kowtowed. Disciple pays homage to the 5th master uncle. Ha ha, kids, get up, get up. The fat palms were fanning upwards, matching the arrogant Dahongbao, the big round face, and the slutty little eyes, and there was no dignity and poise that an elder should have. But whether it's because of his status as an elder in the master's sect, or the slightest bit of powerful aura that occasionally leaks out of the other party, it makes people feel awe from the bottom of their hearts. Thank you, Uncle Master. Everyone stood up and sat down again. Okay, everything I said today has been completed. You will stay here for 3 days and then go back, Su Junming said. Yes, disciple, resign. After the disciples left, only Su Junming, Renwuji, Long Di, Ao Tian, and Tai were left in the hall. Haha, Lao Wu, you are finally born, Renwuji smiled. Second brother, you were born the earliest, but you are only in the late stage of true immortality. You have to work hard in your cultivation in the future. This sentence made Renwuji's smile freeze on his face. Damn it, if you hadn't happened to meet the boss and get the 9 aperture spiritual stone, would you have achieved your current level of cultivation? Renwuji pointed his halberd directly at True Lord Tai, jumped on his feet and cursed loudly. The Infinite Lord, the true King, has profound blessings and profound morals, and he deserves to have such blessings. Tai Zhenjun's right palm is raised up in front of his chest. With his chest and belly protruding, and the coquettish red robe, he is indescribably funny. The 9 apertures divine stone contains infinite spiritual energy accumulated over tens of millions of years. If it were me, I would definitely be at the peak of the golden immortal once I transform. But you are a big step below and you have wasted a good thing. Ao Tian suddenly interrupted. The cold and domineering face was so natural. Stop arguing. Su Junming interrupted the 3 people's useless argument. Unexpectedly, Ao Tian suddenly turned his gun. My dear, you are too indecisive. With the current strength of Chongshan Academy, there is no need to worry about Ime, Buddhism, and demonic ways. If you push them all the way, gods will be killed if gods block them, and Buddhas will be killed if Buddha blocks them. Those who obey me will prosper, and those who go against me will prosper. Death. I pushed all the gatherings and wrote alone in my room. Please look at Dong Gren's hard work and vote for more monthly votes, recommendation votes, and subscribe to more genuine chapters. Especially these days during the Chinese New Year, Trying to keep up with the amount of updates is really frustrating every day. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 669. Chapter 652, Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang. Have you comprehended the three emperors' Taoism? Have you only comprehended the tyranny of winning with force, but not the royal way of using both civil and military forces? Sweeping across the world with absolute power, I won the world, but lost the hearts of the people. And we are not one person, but a sect with tens of millions of disciples. If we act arrogantly and our disciples follow suit and lose their respect, it will only bring countless consequences for us in the future, Su Junming said seriously. What I said is correct. Our Chongshan Academy is a famous and authentic sect respected by thousands of people in the spiritual world. This is the reputation earned by my preaching for a year, plus countless disciples killing demons and saving lives and injuries. It is hard-earned and cannot be destroyed, Dragon Emperor said. If everything is about learning from teachers, when can we take over the general trend of the Shushan world? Ao Tiandao said. After a long time of quarrel, this guy is planning on the Shushan world, Renwuji said. Ao Tian snorted coldly. If I can be like you, I can make continuous progress by adhering to qi and making elixirs, and I don't want to waste my time. Gilug. The obvious sound of swallowing instantly attracted the attention of several people. Tai Zhenjun swallowed the wine in his mouth, looked at everyone with drunken eyes, and laughed. In fact, it's not that complicated. As long as the branch of Chongshan Academy is opened in Shuzhong, the people in Yimei will naturally be restless. As long as they come to the door, won't there be an excuse? After Yimei is cleared, the Buddhist people will still be unable to sit still for the merits they have been thinking about for a long time. As long as they come, they will suppress the matter. We just need to keep opening the Chongshan Academy branch and get rid of those who jump out to stop it. Not only will we be famous as teachers, but we will also win the world. Why not do it? Ao Tian's eyes suddenly lit up. This is obviously an obvious conspiracy. Each sect has its own base. Yimei occupies the center of Shu, Wudang occupies Jiangan, Kunlun occupies the western region, and no one is allowed to snore on the side of the bed. If Chongshan Academy opened branches to Shancheng and Rongcheng, Yimei would have to sleep with one eye open. It would be weird if they didn't respond. If the two factions are at odds, a fight will happen in a matter of minutes. When Chongshan Academy defeats Yimei, it will be famous as a master. Everyone is a smart person and understood the meaning instantly. I can't help but you fat man is really two-handed. Ao Tian turned his head and said, my dear, in my opinion, just do it like this. After thinking about it for a while, Su Junming nodded. Although the seven soul Dharma bodies have different personalities, everyone's interests are the same. Especially Ao Tian, as the heavenly Dao of Chongshan world, the only way he can become stronger is to continuously strengthen Chongshan world. The best way to grow the world is to annex the world that already exists. A more powerful Chongshan world would benefit everyone, including him, Renwuji, Dragon Emperor and Tai. Because as long as he exists, everyone can wander outside as they please. Even if he dies, he can be resurrected through Ao Tian. Therefore, he is everyone's last trump card. Therefore, his strength must be the strongest. How big is Chongshan world now? Su Junming asked. The radius is 60,003.9 million miles. If the entire head of the Great Witch is digested, it will not be a problem to advance to the middle thousand world. In terms of area alone, it can even be compared to the entire Chixian Shenzhou. However, the foundation of Chongshan world is too poor. Unless our Chongshan Academy can dominate the entire Qi County China, it will be difficult for us to annex this world, the Dragon Emperor said. Then take down the Shushan world first, and then plan for the spiritual world, the Dragon Emperor said coldly. The 5 people nodded at the same time. Several rays of light fell from the sky, and soon they arrived at a small island located deep in the East China Sea. Looking at the hill rising in the center of the lush island in the distance. Junior sister Qin, is that the place where Ling Xi cultivates her purity? Asked Xie Hongying, who was wearing a red dress. Exactly. But my mother always lets us cultivate in Xiling Valley in Huangshan Mountain, and rarely lets us come here, Qin Xiling said. After nodding slightly, junior sister Qin, could you please lead the way? Sisters, please come with me. Under the leadership of Qin Xiling, everyone passed through the restrictions on the island and landed on the top of the mountain in the middle. A small Taoist temple wrapped in a bamboo forest appeared in front of everyone. The Taoist temple is nameless. After entering, there is only the main hall in the middle and the side halls on both sides, which looks extremely narrow. Squeak, the door of the central hall opened, and a woman wearing a grey monk's robe and an iron crown, with an extremely beautiful appearance, showing her charm and slim figure with every frown and smile, opened the door and walked out. No wonder even Qin Yu is fascinated by her. 99 out of 100 men will like such a stunning beauty, Xie Hongying thought to herself. However, the two people who quickly followed the woman made her frown instantly. When the other party saw her, he also frowned. My child, meet your mother. Qin Xiling and Qin Hain quickly stepped forward and bowed to salute. My son, please wake up. Who is this? Junior Xie Hongying, a disciple of Chongshan Academy, pays homage to Senior Tianhu. Situ Minjiao, who came with Xie Hongying, also bent down and saluted. Qin Hanyi became Jiao Shaoxin's sect, so he naturally had to contribute to helping Mrs. Tianhu Baoxiang overcome the calamity. You two don't need to be polite. May I ask if your sect has agreed to my daughter's request? Seeing the anticipation in her eyes, Situ Minjiao knew of course that she was asking about the marriage between the second daughter of Tianhu and her nephew Situ Ping. Smile lightly. The two junior sisters Qin are extremely talented and have extraordinary understanding. They have passed the test of the human soul divine sect and have become my disciples at Chongshan Academy. Our master specially asked me to come here to help our seniors overcome the catastrophe. What? Mrs. Tianhu Baoxiang's expression changed instantly. The expressions of the two people who came out next to him also darkened instantly. Did you really join Chongshan Academy? Mrs. Tianhu Baoxiang looked stern. Returning to mother, Han Yi and I originally wanted to marry Taoist fellow Situ and let him help you escape from the tribulation. But fellow Taoist Situ is devoted to the Tao and has no personal feelings for his children at all. Seeing that the time for her mother to escape the tribulation is approaching, my daughter unable to think about it, I became a disciple of Chongshan to ask for help from my elders and to my mother June, Qin Xiling said. You guys, why don't you discuss it with me and just make your own decisions? Prime Minister Tianhu Bao's face turned blue with anger. She had already discussed with the people of Yimei to allow her two daughters to become disciples of Yimei. By then, she would not only be able to achieve enlightenment for her two daughters, but also find a good backer for herself. Moreover, when Qin Yu Yuanyang was stolen, she had already been close to Yimei. For this reason, he even hated Li Jingxiu, the boy of bliss. If she doesn't have a backer, I'm afraid she may not have any good results in the practice world. As for Chongshan Academy, although it is widely rumored in the spiritual circles that it can compete with Yimei, it may even be better than the other party. But in the heart of Mrs. Tianhu Baoxiang, Yimei, with thousands of years of accumulation, is the real giant sect, with unparalleled strength. What's more, Yimei is also the protagonist of a 1,000-year murderous catastrophe, carrying out punishment on behalf of heaven. Only by relying on them can one become an immortal and survive the calamity safely. Now that it's poured, it's all gone. Mother, Chongshan Academy is also a famous and authentic section. The world is upright. There are many immortals under the sect, and there are as many strong men as the ministers across the river. It is our honor to be able to worship under its section, Qin Hanyi said straightforwardly. Shut up, I have asked the ascetic Taoist friend to find Yimei Miaoi's wife Sun Lanyan as your master for your sisters. Therefore, you must become a disciple of Yimei Mrs Tianhu, Baoxiang said sternly. After stopping Qin Hanyi, who was about to speak, Situ Minjiao said solemnly, Senior Tianhu, it is necessary for me to remind you. Now, Qin Xiling and Qin Hanyi are the direct disciples of my Chongshan Academy. If they dare to betray the sect, they will be punished by our sect's rules. Even though the senior is their mother, if she encourages them to join another sect, she should be captured and questioned by our Chongshan Academy. Such a powerful force, with filial piety as the top priority. Chongshan Academy is called the upright section. I didn't expect that it would even take care of the basic parents' orders. If the disciples disobey the slightest, they will kill each other. Such behavior is not different from the devil's section. Xie Hongying retorted. Ascetic Taochuo, you, Yimei, obviously have the means to help Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang survive the catastrophe, but you insist on asking her daughter to sacrifice herself, and you also use the catastrophe to frame my disciple. It is simply despicable and shameless. In turn, you Yimei people do whatever it takes to achieve their goals, which is the behavior of the demon section. Shameless person, how dare you frame me, Yimei, ascetic Taochuo said angrily. But his anger was more like irritation at being told something central. You are not honest in what you do, and you are still afraid of others telling you, Xie Hongying said disdainfully. Ba, for the sake of the majesty of Yimei, the old monk said that he must not have a fight with the donor. I'm afraid you won't make it. Xie Hongying's magic power in the middle stage of the Earth Immortal surged instantly. The strong momentum overwhelmed Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang, Qin Xiling, and Qin Hain. Their expressions suddenly changed and they quickly retreated. As the eldest disciple of Miao Chufang, Xie Hongying has advanced to the middle stage of Earth Immortal. If her realm had not been a hindrance, she would have become a true immortal like countless other disciples. There is no doubt about his strength. Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang looked at Xie Hongying with a look of surprise. Although I have long heard that among the third-generation disciples of Chongshan Academy, there are many who have achieved advanced cultivation, and many of them have become earthly immortals. However, Xie Hongying seems to have been practicing Taoism for far less years than herself, but she has already reached the middle stage of Earth Immortal cultivation. The strength of the disciples of Chongshan Academy can be seen clearly. Uncle Master, let the disciples learn her clever tricks. Zhuge took a step forward and took the initiative to speak. As the only direct descendant of Xianzhenzi, the third-generation disciple of the late Yimei, Zhuge and I have already cultivated to the late stage of Yuan Shen a century ago. Later, Qi Shuming opened Ningbai Cliff. As the first disciple of the fourth generation, he distributed a lot of spiritual elixirs. As early as 10 years ago, he survived the heavenly tribulation and became an earthly immortal. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 670. Chapter 653, Dark clouds fill the sky, and the demon ancestor is born. Coupled with the treasures obtained from Ningbai Cliff, he has the confidence to compete with Xie Hongying. Even if the other party's cultivation level is higher than yours, it doesn't matter. In the competition in the earthly immortal realm, cultivation level also plays a large role, and treasures also play a large role. Seeing that the two sides were about to fight, Qin Hain quickly stepped forward to dissuade him, but was quickly stopped by his sister. Qin Xiling shook her head at her. The sisters are already Chongshan disciples, and the most important thing at this time is to stand together with the two senior sisters. Therefore, although ascetic Tuchuo and Zhuge were seniors and friends of their mothers, they were also their enemies. Just when both sides were about to take action, a wave of black mist swept in from the western sky. It seemed very slow, but in just one stick of incense, it was already over the East China Sea. In an instant, the entire sky became dark. Everyone looked solemn. What a strong demonic energy! Situ Minjio said in a condensed voice. To be able to induce such a strong change in the sky, the demon's strength must be astonishingly strong. For a while, ascetic Taochuo and Zhuchjing lost interest in fighting. Looking at Situ Minjio, Xie Hongying, and the two Tianhu girls in the back who clearly already belonged to Chongshan, their expressions changed slightly. Knowing that it is impossible for the Qin sisters to worship in Yimei, unless they, Yimei, are willing to risk their relationship with Chongshan Academy and support MRS Tianhu Baoxiang to force their two daughters to withdraw from Chongshan. But this kind of thing is not a decision he can make alone. It requires the consent of Qi Shuming and most of the elders of Yimei. Moreover, at this moment, the sky is changing drastically, and such a powerful demon appears. As the leaders of the righteous path, they, Yimei, must bear the brunt. At this time, the most important thing is to return to Yimei and take charge. The matter of Tianhu Baoxiang's wife has nothing to do with Yimei's plans and can be left to be dealt with later. The plan has been decided. The ascetic Tutu said decisively, "Let's go." Policeman Zhuj and I are also smart, so I can more or less guess what this uncle's plan is. After nodding, he paid no attention to MRS Tianhu Baoxiang, and two rays of light shot into the sky. Ascetic friend. MRS Tianhu Baoxiang just wanted to stop her, but the two of them obviously didn't want to talk to her, and Dun Guang quickly disappeared into the distance. Without the people from Yimei to get in the way, most of the tense atmosphere had dissipated in an instant. Situ Minjio and Xie Hongying were concerned about the great changes in the celestial phenomena, and had no intention of getting angry with MRS Tianhu Baoxiang. With the help of the Qin sisters, without the support of Yimei, they could only rely on MRS Tianhu Baoxiang of Chongshan Academy to wisely choose to cooperate. Over the Ningbai cliff of Mount Yimei, the ascetic Tuchuo who returned from the East China Sea met Qi Shuming, Haha Monk Yuanju and other disciples. At this moment, they were all looking up at the black demonic energy that was covering the sky and the sun. Brother ascetic is back. Bearded immortal Li Yuanhua immediately discovered the figure of ascetic Tuchuo and Zhuchjingguo. The light escapes to the ground. Didn't senior brother and I, the police officer, help MRS Tianhu Baoxiang overcome the tribulation in the East China Sea? Why did they come back early? It's not because Chongshan Academy is crossed by a vat. The ascetic Taochuo, who looked unlucky, told the whole story again. Qi Shuming sighed inwardly. He made a mistake in this matter. I thought that with the beauty of the two Tianhu girls, I could definitely win over Situ Ping, but I didn't expect that the other party turned out to be a Lu man. Even if you take the initiative to throw yourself into your arms, you won't be tempted. The plan to let him peek into the core secrets of Chongshan Academy came to nothing. As the person who pays the most attention to Chongshan Academy, he has been keenly aware of the dramatic improvement in the cultivation of the disciples of Chongshan sect in recent years. If there are only one or two, it can be explained by their outstanding talents. But the improvement of group nature can only explain one problem. There are supreme treasures inside Chongshan Academy that can allow its disciples to reach a great level of cultivation. At first he thought it was Guangcheng Jindan. After all, one pill can last 1,000 years of cultivation, and it can indeed make a person's cultivation progress rapidly. But magic power is easy to obtain, but realm is difficult to cultivate. Only Guangcheng Jindan, without enough Taoism, can advance to a small stage at most, similar to the middle stage of Earth immortal advancement to the late stage. But it is simply impossible to cross a large hierarchy and become an earthly immortal into a true immortal. It's just that you won't be able to survive the 5 or 9 heavenly tribulations. What's more, there will be a calamity of inner demons that will test your moral character and perseverance the most. Therefore, he judged that there must be treasures inside Chongshan Academy that could improve his moral conduct. The most likely one is their most precious treasure, the Sankei Shenmen. However, the tens of thousands of disciples of Sankei Shenmen and the inner sect of Chongshan Academy have the inheritance, but their cultivation speed is no different from ordinary disciples of Imei sect. It is simply not comparable to the leap-forward improvement in cultivation shown by Kongshan's direct descendants. Therefore, this kind of treasure that can improve Taoism must only be circulated among direct disciples. In order to find out this secret, he thought of various ways. The direct disciple of Chongshan has amazing strength and is not easy to mess with. The direct disciples with low cultivation level have almost never been out of the mountains in the past half a century, and they can't catch anyone even if they want to. Later, he asked his daughter Qi Lingyun to sneak into Chongshan Academy by taking advantage of the opportunity of the avatar of Lord Chongshan to preach every year. Unexpectedly, Qi Lingyun failed even the simplest human character level test of the human soul divine sect. Qi Shuming understood instantly. It's not that his daughter is not qualified enough or has poor understanding, but that her purpose is impure, so she is rejected by the human soul divine gate. After understanding this, he found the reincarnation of his son Qi Jinshan. The latter has not awakened his memory and does not know his relationship with Imei. Qi Shuming easily sent him to Chongshan Academy. Everything was as he expected. Qi Jinshan, Li Jinshan in this life, quickly passed the Zi level test of the human soul divine sect. Just when Qi Shuming thought that his plan was successful, as long as Qi Jinshan cultivated to the soul and awakened his past life memories, he could use the relationship between father and son to peek into the core secrets of Chongshan Academy. But suddenly he discovered that Li Jinshan and his family in this life had all disappeared without a trace. Qi Shuming has been investigating for many years, but has yet to find his whereabouts. Now, when faced with inquiries from his beloved wife Sun Lanyan every day, he is speechless. I wanted to go to Chongshan Academy to look for him, but I couldn't find the answer. The head of Imei is trying every possible means, even at the expense of his own son, to spy on the secrets of other righteous sections if this news breaks out. Imei's 1,000-year reputation was probably destroyed in his hands. And Chongshan Academy will not give up. It is highly likely that the two factions will have a fight. Although Imei's strength has improved a lot now compared to 30 years ago, he knows that Chongshan Academy has improved even more. When two factions fight, they have a greater chance of losing. So even if you don't want to, you can't keep this news in your stomach completely. Li Jinshan's whereabouts can only be found out slowly by himself. When his plan failed, he quickly thought of another plan. The second daughter of Tianhu. The other party is indeed related to Situ Ping as a couple. After seeing these two fox girls who looked like fairy pearls again, Qi Shuming came up with a plan. They used the excuse of Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang to survive the tribulation and let them marry Situ Ping willingly. In addition, it is not a secret in the spiritual world that Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang needs the help of people with the four yins and right lives to escape from the disaster. After he just said that Situ Ping was the right person of Xiyin, Mrs Tianhu Baoxiang was overjoyed and used her connections to find Yi Zhou and Yi Xiu as matchmakers. As long as this thing can be accomplished, the two Tianhu girls will be secretly brought under Imei's family. The pillow was blown by the wind. Don't be afraid that Situ Ping won't compromise. Even if he didn't compromise, Qi Shuming had a way to make him compromise. But despite all calculations, Situ Ping actually refused. I judge others by myself. If I were young and encountered a peerless beauty like the two Tianhu girls, I would definitely not refuse. But he never thought that Situ Ping would refuse. Obviously, his plan failed again this time. Counting this time, it has failed 3 times. One can imagine the annoyance, anger, and unwillingness in Qi Shuming's heart. He even felt that the ascetic tutu was a bit hasty. Since it was obvious that Mrs. Tianhubaoxiang's heart was towards Ime, he should stay to help her overcome the disaster. When this person is here, he can make a fuss about the filial piety of the two Tianhu girls. Maybe we can find out the secret of Chongshan Academy and the whereabouts of Li Jinchen. Now that he is gone, Mrs. Tianhubaoxiang can only rely on Chongshan Academy. Even if she once had her heart set on Ime but was given up at the most critical moment, all her good feelings for Ime will no longer exist. However, seeing the ascetic Taochuo's face full of dust, he couldn't bear to blame him. After all, the reason why he rushed back was because he cared about Ime. It's just that this overwhelming demonic energy came at the wrong time. Why is there such an astonishing demon in this lower world? My mentor had never heard of him before. The ascetic Tutu frowned. Senior brother, this is wrong. Our mentor has mentioned this person to us more than once. Looking at Qi Shuming, his face was filled with questions. He didn't sell it either. Senior brother, do you remember the demon ancestor of Taicheng Mountain? It's him. The ascetic Taochuo's eyes widened instantly. It's this person. Qi Shuming looked to the west. It is said that the demon ancestor of Taicheng Mountain comes out of seclusion once every 720 years. Every time, the sky is full of demonic energy, shocking the world. It seems that the world of spiritual practice is going to be filled with countless demons again. The ascetic Tuchuo sighed. The demon ancestor of Taicheng Mountain is the founder of the world's demons. Every time he switches on and off, he will lecture on the demonic methods and select people who are destined to pass on the demonic scriptures. Demon leaders such as Ju Panpo, Chuan Xian Monk, Five Elements Venerable, and Xingxiu Lao Mo are all disciples of the demon ancestor of Taicheng Mountain. And every time he came out of the mountain and demonic clouds filled the sky, demonic cultivators from all over the world gathered in Taicheng Mountain, hoping to hear him explain the secrets of the supreme demonic sect, and even more, hoping to obtain the secrets of the demonic sect from his hands and make great progress in their practice. Of course, not all demonic monks come from the Taicheng Mountain Gate. For example, the blood god Old Man of the Stone God Palace who has ascended, the Old Man Shivi of the Azura Demon Palace in southern Xinjiang, the Fire Spirit God King who is one of the 5 monsters and 3 demons in the 14 caves in the southwest, and the Sand God Boy, etc. This demon is simply a great harm to the spiritual world. I really don't know why Master didn't kill this beast back then. The drunk Taoist said angrily. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 672. Chapter 654, The News of Growing Eyebrows, The Storm in Taicheng Mountain. Ascetic Taochuo and Qi Shuming looked at each other and knew each other well. If he could kill him, Master Chenmei would have done it long ago. It was because I couldn't beat him that I didn't dare to provoke him. Of course, it's better not to say this kind of slap in the face in front of everyone. Disrespectful to Master. Suddenly, a purple talisman in Qi Shuming's dharma bag began to beat violently. With a thought in his heart, he quickly took out the talisman. The dazzling green-purple brilliance spread several feet across the sky, instantly attracting the attention of the surrounding Ime elders. The messenger jade talisman left by Master. Qi Shuming and ascetic Taochuo were shocked and blurted out in unison. Finally a response. Qi Shuming's hands trembled slightly, and his expression was extremely excited. Only he himself knows how difficult it has been for him during these half years. The rapidly growing Chongshan Academy was like an unshakable mountain, placing heavy pressure on him. If it weren't for his perseverance, he would have collapsed under the increasing pressure. Now the long-awaited communication jade talisman finally has a response. That instant feeling of being relied on reduced most of the pressure on Qi Shuming's body. Take a deep breath and calm down a little. Let's go back to Ningbai Cliff. The Ime disciples were filled with excitement, nodded quickly, and flew straight towards the sky of Ningbai Cliff Cave. Not only Qi Shuming was under great pressure, but each of them felt uncomfortable facing the increasingly powerful Chongshan Academy. Now the master who is regarded as a god finally has news. In an instant, everyone seemed to have found their backbone. Over Chang'an, Su Junming, Tai, and Longdi stood in the air, looking to the west. "My dear, what is the cultivation level of this patriarch of Taicheng Mountain?" the Dragon Emperor said in a deep voice. "Golden Immortal," Su Junming said calmly. The pupils shrank. "No wonder there is such a big movement. With your current level of cultivation, can you take him down?" "Maybe it wasn't possible 30 years ago, but now," Su Junming smiled proudly, "of course it's no problem." In 30 years, although his Taoist cultivation was only in the middle stage of Xianxian, his physical realm reached the pinnacle of a top-grade general with the help of the Great Witch essence and blood. If he were not limited by the realm of Taoism, he would have tried to overcome the tribulation. Haha, then what are we waiting for? After Gila got used to drinking, Tai Zhenjun touched his fat and bulging belly and smiled harmlessly. He looked up at the sky full of demonic energy. This is an opportunity to wipe out all the evil ways in the world. If it succeeds, it will be an immeasurable merit. Not to mention taking over the identity of the protagonist of Ime killing and robbery, it will also be the cause and effect of Ai Zhenzi, Chunyang Jinren, Guangqinzi, and others. It's over. Ai Zhenzi, Chunyang Jinren, Guangqinzi, and others left behind inheritance and treasures. The purpose is to allow those who obtain them to practice Taoism in the world and slay demons, and then they can share their merits. Now that the disciples of Chongshan Academy have obtained their things, the merits must be repaid by the disciples of Chongshan Academy. Just wait a few more days until all the fish enter the net, Su Junming said. After saying that, the light flew up from under his feet and headed straight to the west. "Hey, didn't you say wait a few days?" Tai Zhenjun said quickly. "The opportunity to gather thousands of demons is so rare, it would be a pity not to experience it." Su Junming's words came from afar. "Haha, count me in too." A white cloud appeared beneath his feet, and Tai Zhenjun chased after him slowly but really quickly. "Dragon Emperor, you stay and sit at the main gate of Chang'an in Chongshan. Now that the world catastrophe in Shushan has begun, it is difficult to say what actions Ime and Buddhism will take to prepare themselves for any danger." The Dragon Emperor nodded. Although his cultivation level has reached the peak of true immortality after taking several pills of elixir of Daihuang refined by Su Junming. But compared with the Xianxian level cultivation of Su Junming and Tai Zhenjun, it is still far behind. It was very difficult to deal with the demon ancestor of Taicheng Mountain who had reached the golden immortal level. It's better to stay and take precautions. Taicheng Mountain is located at the junction of Sichuan and Tibet. Thousands of mountains gather here, and dragons and snakes rise from the land. It is inaccessible and spread over vast wilderness. There are so many unknown mysteries hidden in the deep ravines and jungles. In such a place, only monks with extraordinary strength would set foot. In the past few days, this vast mountain has been particularly lively. Streams of escaping light flew from all directions, and then fell halfway up the mountainside of a huge mountain that rose into the sky, as if it were left over from ancient times. This huge mountain is more than 10,000 feet long, and its entire body is as black as fine iron. Mist-white clouds surrounded the mountainside, and the clouds covered the fog, which should have revealed a fairy spirit. But thousands of black magic lights spread out from the top of the mountain, and countless weird monks descended from the sky, either riding bone swords or riding skulls. The sight of demons dancing around made the snowy Pure Land covered in dust. Su Junming and Tai stood in mid-air, overlooking the demon palace. There was a layer of space around the two of them that blocked out the outside world. Unless they used great magic power, not even the Golden Immortal would be able to discover his whereabouts. "Goodoo. I didn't expect so many people to come." After taking a sip of wine, Tai Zhenjun said with drunken eyes. Su Junming nodded slightly. At this moment, there were at least nearly 10,000 demon cultivators gathered in the huge square in front of the demon palace. It's not even a day now, and those demon cultivators who live far away haven't arrived yet. If we wait for another 7 days, the number of people here will probably increase several times. After Lord Tai nodded, he fell back and lay down directly on the white clouds at his feet. I'll take a nap first and wait until everyone is here. Then wake me up when you want to take action. After that, Su Junming turned his head and snored loudly. Looking at him, Su Junming slowly shook his head. My soul-devouring Dharmakaya is fat, greedy, and addicted to alcohol. I have the same personality as the previous 3. His eyes turned to Taichang Mountain, which was still far away from the time when the demon ancestor of Taichang Mountain would preach. Su Junming, who was never used to wasting time, opened his palms, and a wicker color like fine jade appeared in front of his eyes in his left palm. He had already understood the first seal of this willow branch that he had exchanged from Fen Tuo more than 40 years ago. But the second level of seal is simply not the same order of magnitude as the first level. He has worked hard for more than 30 years and still has not completely solved it. But after taking so long, it was not all without gain. At least the realms of the Sealing Dao and the Space Dao have improved a big step compared to before. Second only to the Tiangong Dao, which had made great progress after breaking through the Xianxian before, and after the bronze mirror blessed his understanding, it was tied with the Soul Dao. If I can fully understand this second seal, my Tiangong Dao and Space Dao cultivation should advance to a higher level. With deep anticipation, Su Junming's consciousness sank into the wicker in his palm. As his understanding of the way of space continues to deepen, he has now reached the bottom of being able to create space at will. This is what his palm looks like at this moment. The wicker, which was originally 100 feet long and nearly 12 feet thick at its thickest point, looked like it was only as long as a finger. Time passed little by little. The mighty bell rang suddenly. The rolling sound waves instantly spread throughout the entire world. Black magic light soared hundreds of feet into the sky, and the demonic energy in the world was dozens of times stronger than before. The vast demonic cloud, like wings hanging from the sky, slowly pressed down. Greed, laziness, anger, fear, all kinds of evil thoughts are radiating in the air. Ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, heavy thoughts are running rampant in the air. Boom, extremely heavy, the stone door with the relief shaped like an eagle, but with eagle wings and dragon tail, slowly opened. The gorgeous magic sound, played by 2 teams of slim girls wearing tulle, resounded throughout Taichang Mountain. Following closely, 18 giant men with Tao-headed bodies, bulging muscles, and nearly 3 feet tall walked out of the demon palace, steadily carrying a huge black lotus altar. Under the 7-fold golden banner on the lotus platform, a young man wearing a black robe, a large cloak, and a golden crown appeared in the eyes of everyone. This young man's face is like a crown jade, his eyes are like bright stars, he is extremely handsome. But this kind of beauty is neither like a man nor a woman, but more like the ultimate neutral beauty. The young man held a small bronze clock in his palm. Although it looked simple and unpretentious, it shone with a powerful aura under the bronze mirror. Su Junming was even more surprised by all the restrictions. Arriving at the square, the Black Lotus platform slowly flew into the air. I'll wait to see the demon ancestor. 100,000 demonic cultivators kowtowed in unison, the sound was so huge that it shook the surrounding areas, and the mountains could be heard in the distance. It was extremely majestic. Just get up. The majestic voice reached everyone's ears. I didn't expect that old man Zipai would come too. Tai Zhenjun, who didn't know when he woke up, spoke. He glanced at the tall old man sitting in the front, wearing a dark red robe. He's not the only one here. Around old man Shivi, there were more than a dozen powerful demon cultivators who had become earthly immortals, and there were even 2 demon cultivators who had achieved the realm of true immortals. Su Junming has never seen many of them. My lord, do you want to take action? After thinking about it for a while, he said, wait a minute, I would like to hear about his magic method. After Tai Zhenjun nodded, as soon as he closed his eyes, the snoring started again. After looking at him, Su Junming didn't say much. Tai Zhenjun was born adhering to the devouring way. He was born with the devouring dharma and awakened his innate supernatural powers. He is not interested in any Taoism except the Tao of devouring. This is the 36th time that I, the demon ancestor, has sat in the seclusion and completed it. I will open the path to unravel the demon Luo. On the 81st day of the 99th, all those who are predestined can come and listen. Thank you so much, demon ancestor. Mara, the wonderful truth of all things, the true desire in the heart, can be changed according to the actions and thoughts, and can be changed by the heart. The vast demonic sound poured into the heaven and earth. In every place shrouded by demonic clouds, there are demonic sounds. Anyone with a good understanding can understand the magic of the demonic path and become a demonic cultivator. Demonic ways are prosperous in the world of Shushan. Thousands of years of killings and catastrophes are so frequent, and the battle between Taoism and demons is so fierce. Most of them have the most important relationship with the sermons of the demonic ancestor of Taicheng Mountain. As the explanation of the devil's ways deepened, countless devils in the square began to act recklessly. The practitioner of the yin and yang demonic way directly pulled the female demon cultivator next to him and began to discuss the mysteries of physiology. After a short time, the entire square turned into an unobstructed assembly.